hello, hello. It has been a fucking day, and my day just started. Like, literally just started. Holy shit. How y'all doing? Good? Bad? Extra bad? And now this thing isn't starting. Why isn't it starting? Start! Start, you infernal contraption! Our swimming robot helps keeps our lakes pristine. Ooh, woo. You lot and the pets doing alright? We're good. We're fine. And now this thing isn't starting. Why isn't it starting? Alright. We're live. Hi everybody. Yeah, so I fired up the streaming software right away just to let people know that we're good and people can stop joining and leaving. Cause that's not great. So let's get the video game you all came to see up on Le Thingy. Let people gather briefly. What's going on? We have... I'll need this in a moment. We have the very start of our Warpstone Cup. Some other casters have cast some other games, so I won't be casting every game that has occurred, but I will be casting a lot of games that have occurred for round one. Stage one of this is you take everybody. We had 122 signups. You take everybody, shuffle them, give them opponents. There's 61 games that are going to happen right away, right? 61 people win, 61 people lose. Cool. Week 2, which starts Wednesday. Week 2, everybody who won a game fights everybody else who won a game. Everybody who lost fights other people who lost. You win and you lose, it splits further, right? If you get to 3 wins, you advance to stage 2. If you get 3 losses, you fall out of the tournament entirely. You're gone. And just people keep playing until you either get 3 wins or 3 losses, you get knocked out or advance. Then no one will be left for stage 1. Then stage 2 starts. We take everybody who made it out, so all the people who have shown that they can play their games at a meaningful amount of time. And stage 2 will be much shorter. We'll put everybody from the same time zones into groups based on your time zone, right? And you might be like, well, how the fuck's that going to work? What if Europe has like 60 people and the American time zones have like 8, right? Well, the percentage of people that get to the final stage, the big stage, where CA will do some streams and stuff, which, woo, that'll be a percentage-based thing. So, like, if Europe has, what would I need, 8 spots? Sure. If Europe has 70 people, then the American time slots have 10. I'm taking the top person from the American time slots, I'm taking the top 7 from the European time slots because of the ratio, right? There's 7 times as many people in that other time slot. I'm being super generic because obviously there's not just 2 time slots in the world, but it's getting the point across. So depending on the size of that group, top 2 or 3 or 4 would get out, and smaller groups just top 1. But you'll play everybody in that group of yours, and then stage 3 is traditional bracket that you're used to. Best of 5s, on stream. CA will be streaming a lot of those. More just traditional single knockout bracket, best of 5. So today we got a shit ton of replays from stage 1. Hey everybody, hey. Grace had said she was going to make a guest appearance, but I don't know where she is. 1 second. She's coming. Oh boy. So we'll get a Grace prediction and then we'll get on our way here. Meanwhile, I have to save. Somebody sent me some more games, so I gotta save those real quick. I didn't tell everybody about the gas leak. They've been informed through the chat, but yeah. How's our morning gone?
It's been a morning.
It's been a morning.
But now it's hopefully done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so paranoid for like a week, though. I'm gonna be sniffing for gas.
Everything smells like gas now.
I know.
And
I sniff your feet and I'm like, gas.
that was... Why'd you pick that? Okay.
Oh.
Alright, so Legend of Total War did message me, and he said, I hate you, and he unsubscribed from my channel, so that also feels good. Feels great.
That's not true. That's not what happened.
It's not true, but I do feel like a piece of shit, because he's like, hey, I'm going to promote your stream, and I'm like, so listen, my house is full of gas right now, and I can't be in it, and he's like, well, I want to go to bed, and I'm like, that's understandable, you deserve to go to bed.
And then it wasn't full of gas.
And then it wasn't full of gas.
There was a small leak. There was a small leak, and they fixed it. So that I mean, a small leak can turn into a lot of gas.
No.
Okay.
So there's 120 people who have signed up for this event. So you gotta just pick one.
Jesus Christ.
You gotta just pick one.
So we're looking at, there's someone named Sexy Boy.
There's someone named Sexy Boy.
So it's only this column that I'm looking at.
That column is everybody in there.
Coops!
Coops is in there.
Oh, and then this is the, like, where they shuffle. So it's only this column I'm looking. These are
duplicates. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, man, this is so hard because I usually pick people based on names, but I'm sure there's some funny names in here.
There's someone named Sexy Boy. I mean,
yeah.
that's a pretty
So
strong
Groot.
bet.
Let me see. Tequila Sunset. I want to know where that one comes from. I'm assuming it's like a drink, maybe?
Maybe. Time zone
Pigman 202. Dr. Nerd. I rooted for you once.
And then he won, like, the tournament. You finally stopped
know.
rooting for him.
No, it was only once for him. I did say I would come back to Dr. Nerd, so maybe now's the time.
Maybe now's the time. Who's the best player in the world, Grace?
You.
I'm on that list.
But go back down.
I did win a tournament last...
Sauce King. These are not in order of, like, skill.
They're
right?
in order of the people who signed up.
Okay, so it's
You
not...
think I'm going to go through 120 people and rank who's the fucking best? No. I ain't got
put
time.
yourself at the top.
I ain't got time for that.
The Gentle Rat. That's nice.
He's great.
Is he?
He's a great person.
What about as a player?
He's fine. Like,
okay.
I don't know. Top 30%.
Poetic Goose. Do you know who they are?
Yeah, I do.
You're not going to tell me, though.
I don't want you to get, like,
Yeah.
I think Poetic Goose is going to win it all. Then I could be like, yeah, that player is brand fucking new.
Dust Bunny Armada. God, these are some good names. I'm so bad at coming up with names like these. This is great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hamster Berserker. I saw something that said hamster, so.
Hamster.
Okay,
the great bearded rat.
Here's what I'm struggling with, because I did say I would go back to Dr. Nerd. But there's so many people here who've never been chosen as, you know, so I kind of feel like...
It's the largest tournament ever.
Right.
120 people. You're used to guessing out of like 11.
I know. Oh my god, this is so hard.
Do you want my guess?
Sure. Who's your guess?
Fucking me.
Oh. So now if you win, do you keep that stuff?
Yeah, dude.
Come on, man. No.
I'm not gonna win. If I had to be honest, out of 120 people, I rank myself like 15th. So not bad. I'm definitely up there, but not like I don't.
Is this Turin? Like Turin?
No.
Oh.
That's MTK Turin. He's I believe he's from South America.
Okay.
He's a G. I lost to him once and like cussed him out real bad because I'm a little raging bitch, but I apologize.
You cussed him out?
Oh yeah, I did.
Jesus.
I apologized.
That doesn't make it okay.
He was kind of corner camping though.
Pigman is funny.
Yeah, I did cuss him out pretty good.
I would love if people would, I don't know if this is possible, but in like comment, you know, if you have a really unique name, like how did you come up with it? Because I want to know how people come up with Pigman and Dog Ruler. Okay, I'm sorry. This is taking too long, isn't it?
Maybe. I'm letting people gather before I get into the replays, so it's all kind of built in.
Okay.
For anybody out there who's like, what is he doing?
Father Ramsey, I've heard that one too. Okay, so like, I really like the name Poetic Goose. From your reaction, I got the sense that they're maybe new.
Brand new.
You don't know them.
I've seen them in 2 tournaments, and they are learning the game.
Okay. Damn, I'm sorry. Well, Poetic Goose, you are my... What do you call that? Like, when they're not going to win, but like the...
Fan favorite.
Yes, you're my fan favorite, is Poetic Goose.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be a dick, Goose,
Yeah.
if you're out there in the chat, but like, you're competing against Alfredino, right? Like, That's the scale I'm putting you against.
Alfredino.
He's the best player.
Oh, so I should choose him? No. Okay. Alright, fuck it. Dr. Nerd, now is your chance to, like, you got this, man.
Be the best player in the world.
You can do it. I believe in you. And if you don't, I don't know that I'll ever pick you again.
All right. Just be the best player in the world, or Grace will never pick you again.
It's true.
Small stakes.
Who does Hazel pick?
Hazel picks Dog Ruler.
Yeah.
As a loyal subject.
She does feel ruled over you. What about Mukau?
Mukau... Strat game.
Why?
Because he contributes the most to the stream.
Oh. Okay.
Mukau's all about that bank.
All right. About that bank.
I gotta cast some games here, so
all right.
skedaddle.
Bye, everyone. Okay, come on, Stinky. Come on.
Okay.
You want this? I'm gonna close this.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So our game one here, now that the stall is over, is between Tactical Lich and Dreaded Saurian Enjoyer, both of whom are actually YouTube people. So do feel free to go check them out as I get my setup working again, because I just realized that my streaming software ceased to recognize Warhammer 3 as a video game. So we'll be casting entire best of threes. That's why I had a blocker up, so you can't see, like, wow, Dreaded Saurian Enjoyer and Tactical Lich had 3 replays. It went all 3 games, or something like that. That is called spoilers, and we don't like that around here. Tactical Lich and Dreaded Saurian Enjoyer. Now, since this is the Warpstone Cup, this is the big World Championship. Everything you see here is going to be probably pretty sweaty and tryhard. It is probably going to be people taking what they think is the best units at the time. So if you're like, wow, why isn't anybody picking these fun, silly units? This isn't the stream for that. It's not the stream for that, my friends. So at the start here, looks like we have Nurgle and Dwarves. Good old-fashioned DLC battle. I'm not particularly surprised to see 2 DLC factions towards the top of what people consider meta. For Dreaded Saurian, we have 2 Soul Grinders of Nurgle, a whole bunch of Plague Toads, Marauders as a front line, and then we do have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption, and then some of the buffed Chaos Furies. And in the back, Pestigors in the Vanguard. Really good, high stat armor-piercing chaff infantry, because they are pretty cheap as far as infantry go. And the Plague Toads are good in this matchup. They have a lot of mass, but they also have armor-piercing anti-infantry, and a lot of demonic units did get buffs to their leadership. For the Dwarves, they're currently being pelted by Soul Grinders. We have some Iron Drakes to reduce the healing of Nurgle with their fire damage, but also that Discouraged is really nice. Sorry, burnt from the leadership. Even though the demonic units got some buffs, you still really, the best way to fight them is still abusing the fact that they're demonic and getting rid of them that way rather than having to kill every single model. Minus blasting charges clear up the front line Dwarf Warriors as well. We do have Slayer Pirates mixed in. Some regular Slayers in the back. Thoric Ironbrow. Oh, he took the bugged Thoric! Thoric is currently bugged. If you haven't seen one of my videos recently, he literally can't attack. His hammer is stuck at his side. He doesn't have animations. So Thoric is purely a support lord. He has no buffs. No attack. A Dragon Slayer to do that attacking for him, and in the back we do have 1 cannon that's trying to duel with the Soul Grinders, and it will beat the Soul Grinders 1v1, though the Soul Grinders will have to try and get their damage out elsewhere. Iron Drakes and Blasting Charges melting some of these Marauders, but in comes the flank of the Furies and the Pestigors. We'll see what the Dwarves can do about that as the Plague Toads start to get through the front line. The Dwarf Warriors already taking significant damage on this charge. Thoric and the Dragon Slayer moving up to try and help out a little bit, but the Chaos Furies gonna dive onto Iron Drakes. Get some decent damage out there. Slayer Pirates are more than happy to take this fight. And I actually think the Chaos Furies of Nurgle might beat Miners and the Cannon Crews, but not with Slayers nearby. Slayers will run up and deal with that pretty darn quick. Up here we see some Marauders, and the Plague Toads are about to break. They're burnt. You can see that leadership is -1. Without the burnt debuff, they wouldn't be Demonic Instability crumbling, but there they go. They are gone. So the top side of the Dwarves are doing fine, but this bottom side is going to shit super quickly. Some of their Chaos Furies are going to get killed off by the Slayer Pirates, but the other Chaos Furies are doing fine. The cannons are already routed off, and Pestigors get a rear charge onto these Slayers. Their armor piercing is useless against the Slayers, but still, you know, you do have a decent melee infantry unit fighting back against expensive-ish slayers. So it's overall fine. Iron Drake still firing into the Chaos Furies of Nurgle. Nurgle is pulling ahead on the balance of power. There's a Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Let's watch Thoric not swing at things. Ah. He's just standing there like a fool. You love to see it. So the Dragon Slayer is going to run up at the front, fight some Marauders of Nurgle. The Dwarven front line is doing pretty well, but their back line has gone entirely to the side of Nurgle. The flanking Pestigors was pretty huge, because now all the Minor Splashing Charges threw at Marauders, not the Pestigors, because I don't think they really noticed those guys were coming up behind them. And the Fury buffs. Oh, the Fury buffs. We're feeling it. These guys just dove straight into the back line. They're still doing fine. Not a lot of value, but they did get rid of the cannon. Done a decent amount of damage to the Miners. The Slayer's taking a lot of damage, too. Soul Grinders firing away, getting what damage value they can out, as these Plague Toads are fighting Slayers, which is not what they want to be dealing with at all. Automatic instability starts to creep up on them, and I have to sneeze. No! I don't want to sneeze. Go away, sneeze. There are so many Nurgle bodies, guys. I don't know if the Dwarves can deal with all this. Thoric's up here still trying. He's trying his darndest. I love how long he carried the Dwarven roster. Now he doesn't have to, and he's just like, oh, thank God, I'm so tired, and puts down his hammer for all time. Oh, he thought about swinging there. Nope, he didn't. Just vibing. Just vibing. Looks like the Dragon Slayer is trying to run out and fight a Soul Grinder of Nurgle. So that thing is going to use its 75 speed to get away from him. Doesn't want to fight the angry Slayer man, which I can understand. Slayer Pirates chasing around the other Soul Grinder. And Thoric does get another Rune of Wrath and Ruin out, doing a ton of damage. Looks like that one was overcast. We do have Iron Drakes firing over the top to apply that burnt leadership debuff on the Pestigors. Pestigors are still Beastmen. You know, they're cowardly. But it looks like the Plague Toads aren't going to have any more of that. Jumping and diving in. Get staggered by a couple little pieces of fire. The Iron Drakes will get taken out. Unfortunately, too late for some of these guys, as Pestigors and Marauders of Nurgle thinking about routing regardless. And while I am concerned there's not a lot from Nurgle that can kill a Dragon Slayer, besides the Dragon Slayer, the Dwarves are entirely doomed at this point. Hey, Legend, how you doing, man? Legend, I didn't die. We didn't suffocate out. Is it the mount or something? Yeah, on foot he's fine. On foot he can swing. But on his anvil, I believe all runesmiths on their anvils have the same bug, so they can't attack at all. Just makes Thoric just a support lord. Which, honestly, he's still okay at. Definitely you want that bug fixed, but the sad part is I think Thoric bugged is still better than Thorgrim Grudgebearer. That's how bad Thorgrim is. Nurgle is running into some issues. That Dragon Slayer is still full health. Thoric's doing okay, and the Slayer's, you know, doing good. Slayer Pirates out there fighting the last Chaos Furies. So things are going alright. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle has decent melee stats, but he does not want to fight a Dragon Slayer. Not at all. He's using the Rune of Love. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Nurgle's head on the balance of power. I am starting to think that's a little fraudulent. Because we're getting... It's really tough to win with Pestigors and Marauders in this state, where they're just useless. Like, their leadership is so low, they'll get into a fight for 3 or 4 seconds with a Dragon Slayer, and then they'll rout again. And eventually they'll just rout so many times that they shatter, it's not important. It's really going to be if the 2 Soul Grinders in melee and the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle can deal with the Dragon Slayer. Which sounds obvious, but like... I don't know. Dragon Slayer is specifically built to mess these guys up, as he gets 1 hit on the Soul Grinder and takes about 1/10 of his HP. So if he gets, I don't know, 6 more attacks off, he's going to kill that thing. Look at him running around with his little bare feet! Look at him go! Living his best life as he maybe catches up with the Soul Grinder, but it looks like Dreaded Saurian is on top of it enough to get out of there. And the Sorcerer Lord takes his turn. Both trading blows. And he does... Ooh, I do need to remember that. He has Fleshy Abundance. So if he has the Winds of Magic for all that healing, then the Dragon Slayer's going to have to fight 3 Soul Grinders, because they're each going to get heal capped, and then the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle times, 1.5. which I don't think you can kill all that. So we are starting to wonder how much Winds of Magic Nurgle really has in the tank, as the Soul Grinder is starting to take extreme damage here. This is a rough fight. Needs to be really careful not to let that thing Demonic Instability crumble. He needs it. Pestigor is almost heal capped. They've been getting Fecundities and Fleshy Abundances while I haven't been looking. My word. Rune of Doom is out. Thoric. Oh, he got 760 value from somewhere. It must have been all those Runes of Wrath and Ruin, but maybe he got one swing somewhere on a Soul Grinder of Nurgle. As they do back off, realizing they're not fighting that Dragon Slayer well. The balance of power comes back to about 50-50. As all of a sudden, this Dragon Slayer, 1,500 value, and still roughly around 3/4 HP. He's gonna be a problem. Fleshy Abundance for the Soul Grinder. Good stuff, good stuff. Thoric waiting on his next Rune of Wrath and Ruin to clear out both of these Pestigors, because if he can overcast it, literally both these units will just die. Are the rune cooldowns too long, or is it just me? I think they're fine. Dwarves are a roster that's balanced around not having Winds of Magic, so when they got the Rune Magic, which is pretty much just magic, it's fine. Also, if you're thinking about campaign stuff, in a super long battle, not having Winds of Magic at all, like if you have bad Winds of Magic generation on the map, or you don't have a lot of power reserves, having literally infinite Winds of Magic is really awesome. So, they do have long cooldowns, but that's their attempt to balance this. Big gank attempt onto Thoric, really trying to knock him out and trigger army losses. I don't know why that would matter. I guess you get rid of some Dwarf Warriors if they're trying to come back, but the Dragon Slayer is going to be a problem. Might as well take out the non-unbreakable one first. I do understand that, since you know this guy's not going anywhere. You have to kill him. Might as well get rid of Thoric. And they are getting a ton of damage onto him. But the Dragon Slayer is hitting Soul Grinder Nurgle in the back. Can they goon out Thoric before that next big Rune of Wrath and Ruin? Because now there's 3 Pestigors stacked up here. There's army losses. And he casts it! Does it go off anyway? Ah, yes it does! That's kinda clutch to take out a lot of the chaff the Dragon Slayer doesn't want to deal with, but it looks like this Pestigor is going to hold on, which is really, really good for the Soul Grinder of Nurgle, which is going to get a couple shots off, and at this point, I think we can ×2 speed. This Dragon Slayer's too hurt, Nurgle has too much healing left, and that is game 1 going to 2 Noblars in a trench coat, who I know as the Dreaded Saurian, who's also a YouTuber. So is Tactical Itch. Go check those out. Also, if either of them is in chat right now, you should both be moderators so that you can plug your own channels, but if you aren't, let me know. Man, that Dragon Slayer did work. Even in a loss, 2,600 value is kind of nutty. Slayer Pirates didn't do amazing. Iron Drakes did fine. And the front line of the Dwarves did alright. For 2 Noblars in a trench coat, his Soul Grinders did well, but it is really the Pestigors that are the heroes here. For 650 or 700, don't know why I'm forgetting their cost, they are just so good in this matchup. Plague Toads did fine. They didn't get a lot of value, but they're really disruptive. Chaos Fury buffs also being felt, so Nurgle getting a lot of good buffs, making this matchup pretty even. Yeah, pretty even. I mean, it was a close game, so I won't say it's even Nurgle favored, but it went from literally unplayable to fine. Okay. Then I'll take you back to this blocker screen so you don't see if there's 2 or 3 games here. Alrighty, game 2. Ogre Kingdoms versus the Lizardmen. If you're hoping for a 3-game series, you need to run to the side of the Ogre Kingdoms to support Tactical Lich. If you just want 2 Noblars in a trench coat to clean this out, then you're hoping for a rare Tehenowin win, which, don't know why you're taking Tehenowin. Hey, Battlesy, how you doing, man? Is there 2 or 3 games you must know? Then you must watch. When are you casting the Skaven games of the Warpstone Cup? Never happened. Never happened. Alrighty, for the Ogre Kingdoms of Tactical Lich, we have a front line of Noblars. 8 Noblars is pretty standard, 4 Trappers, 4 regular. Then we have Ogre Bulls on the front line, 2 Lead Belchers. And then man-eaters with great weapons. Those are not typical. They're not bad, but they're not typical. Saber-tusk packs are also amazing. Their super high weapon strength is really great. And now they don't have the constant rampage bug, where you just lose them forever. Now they're actually a really, really good unit. And then, of course, we do have a Troll Guts caster. That's fine. Oh, yeah, he is versus Lizardmen. That's why he's Lead Belchers. Lead Belchers are fine against a Dread Saurian if there is one, but they're amazing against the Saurus Spear Bucks, so you kind of need it just in case your opponent's going to box up and try and outlast you. On the other side, we have 2 Bastiladons with Solar Engines. They do have a lot going for them here. Fire damage to reduce healing. Then you have the Blinded effects, so you could, if your opponent's going for a bunch of Crushers or something that rely really heavily on their stats, you can just nerf them into the ground. And then they also have the Perfect Vigor aura, well, the better than Perfect Vigor aura, to keep the Saurus Spears in the fight in the late game. So Bastiladons are a good little support craft. Their lasers don't do that much damage. They do okay, but not that much damage. But you mostly take them for like all the supportive stuff they bring to your roster. You don't really bring them for like big damage. You can see they're poking, but they're not doing amazing. We have 2 Cold One Spear Riders, anti-large armor piercing versus Ogre Kingdom is always a good idea. Some Saurus Spears, some Jab Skinks. And that's about it. Up in the sky, Tehenwin on a Ripperdactyl with just his Manticore summon an Amber Spear. And then the Clostodon Hunters, anti-large armor-piercing Ripperdactyls. I don't love Tehenwin in general. I think he is kind of bad, but I really don't like the Amber Spear versus the Ogre Kingdoms. It's literally worthless here. So I must disagree with the spell choices. Ogre Bowls charging straight in. Already lose half their health on the charge with those Javelins, though. And it looks like the Bastiladon's going to get out of here while the getting's good. Saurus Spears might have to get pulled up soon. But I think for the moment, it looks like the Solar Engines are just trying to deplete the Lead Belchers as long as they can before the Saurus have to walk into that melting fire. Spirit of the Gorg, thank you for literally risking your life to stream to us in a dramatic gas leak. And probably fires all around you. Yeah, definitely didn't figure out the gas leak first and then stream. I started streaming, I said, hope the gas leak's going okay, and just kept going. Alright. Ripperdactyl's trying to find a home. They want to dive into Lead Belchers, but with these Man-Eaters standing right here, it is not good for them to do that. But also, keeping the Man-Eaters back here means, I mean, he has 2,800 gold of Man-Eaters standing around waiting while you get the fight elsewhere. So it's kind of a... Both sides are getting something out of this. While the Ripperdactyls can't land, it also means the Man-Eaters can't abandon the Lead Belchers. Because if they do, your Lead Belchers are just dead, and what's the point? Cold One Spear Riders trying to find a home, having a bit of difficulty as wherever they go, these Noblar Trappers are poking them down. Ooh, this is a good pick. Saber-tusk pack gets a little overextended. Now they're fighting a whole bunch of stuff. Immediately Terror Out off, and look at their HP just get disintegrated away. Oh, that is brutal. Beautiful pick here from Tehenwin. He's got to get the Colossal Hunters back up into the sky, though. Because even though I understand why he doesn't want to dive on the Lead Belchers, he does need to do something. As we can see, unfortunately we've got the dark version of this map, but the Lead Belchers are slowly taking out the Saurus Spears, and the Saurus Spears are really the backbone of this Lizardmen army. There's a lot of support, and that support is all here for the Saurus Spears. Cold One Spear Riders are trying to get in the back line and do some good stuff, but I don't know. Wait, where did Man-Eaters go? Oh, Man-Eaters got bored of waiting around, started to go play with the front line a little bit, and the Cold One Spear Riders found a way in. Now we have a Troll Guts. Can we get a Solar Engine shot onto this Lead Belcher to reduce that Troll Guts healing? It doesn't look like we will, as... Ah! That's what he's doing. He's trying to catch the overextended Man-Eaters. One of them went back to peel, but the other one is all the way out here. Man-Eaters getting dove on. Cold One Spear Riders, Clostodon Hunters, everybody's hitting these guys. They're getting a tier 3 armor ability Butcher that is healing them up as much damage as they're taking, but there is a big fire shot, and they're so close to routing with above half HP. That is a brutal loss for the Ogre Kingdoms. Such an expensive unit. Now that the healing's worn off, you can see how quickly they're just getting torn apart by the Clostodon Hunters. Toad Rage giving them 50% more damage across the board. Tehenwin's also helping out, and that is huge for the Lizardmen. Big value trade. On the backline, the Lead Belchers survived the attack, and the only Man-Eater left is once again resuming his bodyguard duties. Oof. Manticore Summon is out. That's the first one I've seen this game. I do worry about the Lizardmen, though. We have a very even game going on, and it's because, like, they're out of infantry. Their infantry are all dead. We have a half-health Saurus up there. Routing, routing, routing. Shattered, routing. Do they have what's left to take out these ogres? We still have a full health Man-Eater. 2 Lead Belchers with a lot of models and a lot of ammunition. Looks like Tehenwin and the Goon Squad are going to catch out the Saber-tusk pack. And that's the rough part about Sabertooth's packs. Even with the bug fixed, bug is fixed, but Rampage is still Rampage. If they get caught out, you can't tell them to leave a bad situation for a while until that Rampage wears off. So these guys are just stuck in this fight, and no matter what Tactical Itch does, he can't get them out of here. Solar Engines are both still healthy and doing what they can. Sword Spear is stuck fighting Man-Eaters. Looks like they're about to die, though. Manticore getting a little bit of poke in the Slaughtermaster, who hasn't been poked at all, so he can easily heal off this damage if it even matters. But it looks like for now he's just charging up extra ingredients off that thing. Taking some of its wings for some gruel later. The Saurus Spears are back in here. Where are the Man-Eaters? The Man-Eaters are busy dealing with the regular Saurus Spears as the Cold and Spear Riders get in. Leadbelchers defending themselves, though. Cold and Spear Riders are just so depleted that they don't really have the muster to win this fight. But they're going to get a lot of damage out. It's definitely a great trade. I was just saying the Leadbelchers might be able to defend themselves. Here comes the Man-Eater bodyguards, but they're a little late on the draw again. As the Henowin is over here harassing these Leadbelchers, we're getting another Troll Guts Overcast, but the Man-Eaters not being where they need to be has been costing the Ogre Kingdoms a lot this game. A lot of free Leadbelcher damage, and also the one time they overextended just got completely bodied immediately. Do you think they over-nerfed Nobbler Trappers? No. No, Nobbler Trappers are still really good. They're really, really good. For 500 gold, I still take 5 in every build I do. Slaughtermaster is taking decent damage from the Manticore and Henowin this time. One of the Leadbelchers is routing, the other one is getting close to routing, and finally that fire is there to reduce the last 10 seconds or so of Troll Guts healing. Manticore taking free damage. It's a summon, though. You don't really care about its health bar, because it almost never lives beyond its summon time anyway. If your summon straight up dies on the battlefield, that's a rarity. So it has 25 seconds left. It looks like it's going to get routed away from these Man-Eaters in just a second, and then it'll fade away before it rallies again. Colossal Hunters have taken decent damage. We still have 2 Bastiladons who are very healthy, though one of them's out of ammo. The other one still has 8 shots left. Lizardmen model count is really low. They have 27 troops total versus 850. But the 850 are a lot of Nobblars. Cowardly, cowardly Nobbars. Is this the first series? Yes, Rocket. Yes. Nothing weird happened. We started exactly on time when we meant to. Everything was fine. Ogre Lords are pretty trash. That's true. Their casters are fine, but, like, Scrag isn't particularly good. Greases sucks. Leadbelchers take a big old chunk. Looks like this guy's going to charge into melee soon. Once they get close enough, they'll proc this charge. There he goes. Leadbelchers are trying to get something done. This does get a little awkward, because now the Leadbelchers don't have any good targets. It doesn't matter if you defend them. Amber Spear hits the Slaughtermaster for a little bit of poke damage, but anyway. Bastiladons are low profile, low to the ground, and then they also have some missile resistance. Leadbelchers are going to have a tough time dealing significant damage to them. All the Saurus are already dead. Colossal Hunters and Henowin don't really care about getting shot at by Leadbelchers. So they just kind of... They did their job, and they did it well, but now they're like, what do we do, boss? A nearly full health Man-Eater is extremely concerning for the outcome of this game. Henowin and the Solar Engines fighting back. Nobbler Trappers holding them in place while the Leadbelchers continue to poke, but here comes the Man-Eaters, the real winners of the day. And again, are they overextending? They're not fighting on top of any Nobblars. They're putting themselves at risk. Here's a big Toad Rage. Stand Your Ground is also popped from Henowin. And they're getting good damage out. Neither of the Solar Engines is around to apply that debuff to the Man-Eaters, the melee stats one, so they are still getting decent damage back on these guys despite the Stand Your Ground. In comes some dogs. Big surround of the Colossal Hunters. The Ogre Kingdom's pulling ahead on the balance power for really the first time this game. Looks like that might be it. Toad Rage wears off, Stand Your Ground wears off, the Colossal Hunters all of a sudden feeling vulnerable, and they are going to get pushed away. Man-Eaters took a lot of damage. It was a really good attempt here from Dreaded Saurian to finish this game off. If he had killed those Man-Eaters, then he would have won, but it was just too tall a task. They were too healthy, and the Colossal Hunters were too messed up. Now the Man-Eaters get another Butcher to heal them up, and that will be this game. Eli, you didn't post your replays? You didn't realize that could be streamed. If you want, just DM them to me directly, because I might not look at the replays folder while I'm casting, but I always check my messages. Amber Spear getting cast point blank range. Hits. Does decent damage, honestly. But the Bastiladon's just getting too low. He can't hold. There he goes. Routed off. Man-Eaters also get a Troll Guts. How much healing can you even get? Everything is healing them as much as possible. That's funny. We're going to game 3. Tactical Lich and the Ogres pull it out. Couple whoopsies with the Man-Eaters, but overall they did their job. The Lead Belchers both paid for themselves. Got rid of those Saurus. Sabertooth packs did good. Nobbler Trappers all did fine. That's that. For 2 Nobblers and a Trenchcoat, his big value pieces all did pretty well. The Saurus, though, like, one of them got into the fight. The other ones clearly had issues finding their mark, and they just got blown away by Lead Belchers. So that's GG. Now, I know you know there's a game 3, but I am still going to put you on the blocker screen because when I go into my replays folder, you might see future series, and then you'll know those. So let's just be consistent. Game 3 between these two. Who will win? Oh god, it's Sigvald. That's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Tactical Lich vs. Dreadsaurian. Game 3, whoever wins this does take the first series. Warriors of Chaos versus Chaos Dwarves. Thanks, Death Rabbit. What up, what up? Gibbity Zibidon. I wish Total Warhammer 3 collaborated with Honky Star, Royale, Withering Waves, and our Guardian Tales. It would be fun to see Malachi and Peekany for starters. Alright, alright. I support it. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Warhammer 3 run or not on your setup? McTavish? I actually don't know that much about that stuff. So, you might want to ask somebody else in the chat. If you were more pessimistic, would you be Human Boy No-No? That'd be correct. Alright, we already had some action start here as Hobgoblin Wolf Riders started on top of Hellstriders, and that is not what they want to be doing. They just get instantly destroyed. So they're dead. They're dead as hell. As soon as the game starts, they just get collapsed on, and these Hellstriders are going to eat them up. Yeah, that wasn't even close. For the rest of the Chaos build, we do have some Hellstriders. We have 4 Marauder Horsemen, Marauders Great Weapons, Aspiring Champion frontline with Sigvald, and then a Slanesh caster with their Rampage and Lash. On the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, we do have a Cathay Destroyer, which is pretty wild. A Sorcerer Prophet of Metal, Final Transmutation, and Searing Doom. Searing Doom already going out to poke some of the Marauders a little bit. We do have a Death Caster who just brought Reforges, it looks like, and a Flask. Okay, I've never seen that used in multiplayer, so I don't know. But Reforge for the Cathay Destroyer, most likely. Then we have a bunch of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, Infernal Ironsworn, and the Blazing Beards. A lot of armored infantry to just hold, and hoping to cycle charge with the Sorcerer Prophet and the Cathay Destroyer, and then heal them up with the Demon Smith Sorcerer. That largely makes sense. This is a bit of a problem. This is a big problem. Sorcerer Prophet of Metal gets in over his skis a little bit, rampaged, and now surrounded. He does have greater mass than anything that Chaos brought to the roster, but he still has to waddle his way slowly out of the blob fight, and you can just see how much damage that is really putting on him. But something is getting cast. It looks like an overcasted Searing Doom that's going to hit everything in this area. That actually should be pretty decent damage for a cheap spell, right? Does a lot of good damage, but still, even with a proc of his Chalice heal, he's still down to half HP. Overall, I would rather be Chaos in that exchange. Goblin Labor is already getting taken out, but these Aspiring Champions are withstanding some of the first blasting charge throws of the Chaos Dwarves. Their super low model count and their high armor is trying to keep them safe in this exchange. As you can see, the Marauders took significantly more damage from those. Cathay Destroyer, currently uncontested, just walking around wherever he pleases. And like I said, this Chaos build doesn't have a lot of mass. It's not like you have Dragon Ogres running around, or Trolls or something. So the Cathay Destroyer is largely free to go where it pleases and do what it wants. It's generally considered a bad unit, so I don't really care that it goes where it pleases or does what it wants, but it can! It can go there! It just doesn't mean it's going to do anything. Again, the Sorcerer Prophet is on the ground, which means as soon as the Rampage is back up, I imagine that'll hit him again, unless it already did. His Chalice Potion heal is up for the next spell that Chaos casts towards him. While the Marauder Horsemen are all throwing javelins his way, getting a little bit of poke damage down here and there. He's overall fine. He's overall getting back towards his infantry. And Chaos Dwarves are ahead on the balance of power as the Hellstriders take a nasty volley from the Infernal Ironsworn. Still have Blazing Beard blasting charges. Say that 20 times fast. But at least the Ironsworn are out of out of volleys. Cathay Destroyer still out here wandering around, getting some hits in here and there, and I believe his Demon Smith Sorcerer still has both heals. Yeah, he still has both heals, so the Destroyer can take some damage here. This is probably a bit too much, but honestly, I don't hate getting the Marauder Horseman to throw at this thing and then using some heals on it, because your Sorcerer Prophet's taken so much damage to this point that you kind of need to spread out the damage. Sorcerer Prophet has healing as if the game goes long because of his Chalice. The Cathay Destroyer has healing from the Reforged, but you can't... If your opponent focuses all of his shots on the same thing, it's just going to die or heal cap and then die. First Reforge is out, trying to heal up the Cathay Destroyer. As it rampages through, trying to hit Sigvald, but it's not really going their way. And for the Chaos Dwarves, their infantry is fine. We haven't paid attention to the infantry fight too much. It has been all about single entities, but Aspiring Champions are slowly grinding their way through an awful lot of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and it looks like the Chaos Dwarves just don't have the stats to really damage the Aspiring Champions too much. Slaanesh Caster under duress. Sorcerer Prophet Metal starts to deal with them. The Marauder Javelins are still throwing here and there. And now the Cathay Destroyer needs to be worried. Sigvald is sundering its armor, making it much more vulnerable to these Marauder Horsemen fire. And we know that the Reforge is already on cooldown, so there's no healing for him for a while. He doesn't want to die out here. The Vein of Slaanesh is rampaging down the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal, and Sigvald's coming in for the rear charge. It was all a bait, it was all a trap! No one cares about the Cathay Destroyer, they all care about the Sorcerer Prophet. They were just waiting for the Rampage to come off cooldown. You can see all of the Skirmish Cav get orders to shoot at him while Sigvald dives in. Hellstriders are keeping him down, and he all of a sudden routs. Now he's not even going to fight back as he takes more and more damage. Gets speared in the face, and the Cathay Destroyer is bumbling around, wondering what to do, wondering what happened to his Lord and Master as he still wanders around. Pick a lane, you fuck! Get in there! Get in there and save him! I think he's dead. There he goes. Chaos Dwarves are without their leader. Luckily for them, the Cathay Destroyer is unbreakable until it takes so much damage that it probably would have Demonic Instability crumbled anyway, and Infernal Ironsworn might as well be unbreakable for how crazy they are in leadership. But you did just lose your only caster. Demon Smith Sorcerer of Death didn't bring any spells. He's not real. Cathay Destroyer taking big damage, needs that second Reforge, and he needs it fast. There it is, it's healing him up right now, just as Demonic Instability was starting to take hold. As he stays in the fight with Sigvald, doesn't back off to receive that healing, he decides, fuck it, I'm staying in this one. Demonic Instability does hit him, he's starting to take a whole bunch of damage. Can he rally? There, he starts to rally, finally gets rid of that damage, though his Reforge is about to wear off. It looks like that's the health he's going to have for this game. Blazing Beards of Bosrock still have some blasting charges. Not sure what they're going to be able to do with it, as these Aspiring Champions across the battlefield still have such good health bars. They haven't cared about a single thing. They're chopping through Chaos Dwarves like nobody's business. The Skirmish Cav of Chaos still harassing the Cathay Destroyer with the last of their ammunition. 1 and 1 for volleys over here. 2 and then 7 on this side, so it doesn't look like the Kathay's days are numbered. In comes Demonic Instability once again, just poking him down for free. Slaanesh S tier confirmed. Oh, it's true. Even though this is Warriors of Chaos and not Slaanesh, but yeah. Yeah, good damage out. It's starting to look a bit doomed. Because Sigvald and the Aspiring Champions were already not having any issues dealing with Chaos Dwarf infantry. And yeah, he's just going to surrender. Because, like, you could drag it out and make him kill all of the Infernal Ironsworn and all those things. But it's not going to change how this game's going to go. Warriors of Chaos had all the agency. They had all the healing left. It was only going to get better for them. Is Instability or Rigor Morale generally better? I am not a Domination expert. I think Instability is better for Domination because you can get your units back on the field faster. In land battles, I would strongly say Morale is better if you're just asking about the two systems. Though I do think with all the buffs that Demonic units have gotten in the last few patches, I now am starting to think about it evenly. Like, I've been playing a lot of Khorne. I'll take Bloodletters more than I'll take Chaos Warriors because Demonic Instability is a downside, and it sucks. Yep. But after all their buffs, now finally Demonic Instability isn't such a downside that I don't want a fast, armor-piercing, anti-infantry, physical-resistant infantry unit, right? So now you can kind of balance the downside against the upside, whereas previously the downside was so huge, it didn't matter how good the unit was. Because if someone looked at it wrong, it fucking died. So what was the point? But, like, if I could have a Bloodletter with Morale instead of a Bloodletter with Demonic Instability, I'd take that 10 games out of 10. Fuck yeah. That'd be amazing. But Domination is different. And I'm not good at Domination mode, so I don't pretend to know what's better there. Grieven, yeah. I saw Akoi post that in the content creator Discord. I was really tempted to sign up, but I have stuff going on this weekend, and I know I needed to do this stream. So yeah. So nice job, Tactical Lich, for the win on the first series here. Aspiring Champions did okay. They just got a lot of kills. They're not going to get a ton of value, but you got a lot of kills on stalwart Chaos Dwarf Warriors that you got to take out. The Marauder Horsemen all paid for themselves. And then the Rampage plays with Sigvald were actually really, really good. For 2 Noblars in a Trenchcoat, his Healing Caster didn't get a lot of value, because of course it didn't, but it was mostly on his 2 single entities, and they both did okay, but they just got focused so hard it was really tough for them to get anything done. So that's going to be GG there. Well done to Tactical Lich. Good first win. I'll put the blocker back up as I take a look at our next replays here. I'll try to grab a series that has some different factions than we just watched, so it's not like just watch the same ones over and over again. There's a Skaven game. Could have a Skaven game. Do you guys want a Skaven game? You guys maybe want a Skaven game? Are you pandering and stalling? Do you already know you're going to cast a Skaven game, but you're busy answering messages, so you just needed to fill the void with nonsense? Is that... No, he couldn't possibly be. All right, let's do it. We have Hellion versus Brutus. Brutus is actually... not... Okay. When I say well-known, I meant for, like, a new player. He's not, like, famous, like Alfredino or Falcon or Flying Taco, right? But when I talk about Brutus, I do have to talk about his vampire counts. He plays them a lot. His picture is a vampire, and his vampire counts play, when he plays them, I notice he plays at a much higher level than he does other factions. And I'm not trying to say he's shit at other factions, right? I'm just saying, like, if the dude's a B, and he plays vampire counts, he's an S, it's like, alright, he's 2 steps up. So wherever you think he is, I'm just trying to say that, like, his vampire counts is just better than everything else he has. So it's interesting to see him start on Tzeentch. I wonder if, through pick and ban shenanigans, he just didn't get to play vampire counts, because also Skaven into vampire counts is pretty good for vampire counts. So you'd think he'd want to play it. So that's what I know about these 2 players. I know Brutus is strong at that. For Hellion, I know he also does some streaming on Twitch every so often. I don't know how serious he is about that or how often he does it, but again, if he's in the chat, he can tell you. It's fine. I am totally fine with self-promotion on my streams. That's good. As long as it's... Okay, as long as it's Total War Warhammer related. Don't come in here like... I do NSFW art on Reddit. Cool, bro. Not the vibe. But, yeah. Hellion just plays a lot of everything. I just knew he's kind of a chill dude. Chill bro. And now he's playing Skaven here. For Hellion and his Skaven, we have Deathmaster Sniktch. With Whirl of Weeping Blades and Deathmaster Sigil to clear out some blobs. Skaven Slave Slingers all around. We do have the Teethbreakers, Rally Guns, and Natty Poop Sharpshooters, and Ikit Zap Zap, so a lot of Daka trying to take out the Tzeentch front line. Skaven Slave Spears and Clan Rats to hold the front, since Tzeentch isn't really going to have too great of a front line against you. It's fine to go with these low melee stat things. You don't really need to hold in melee, you just need to outshoot Tzeentch usually to win this matchup. So I actually like this build a lot. It's a good build. 3 Eshin Triads to surprise anybody that goes for that back line. On the Tzeentch side, we do have a bunch of flyers. Buffed Chaos Furies. Herald of Tzeentch of Metal with just Final Transcend Searing Doom. We do have a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. There's a caster, Warlock Engineer, I forgot, but he's over there. We have a Cockatrice, which is interesting. I guess it is a Source of Terror and whatnot, but still. Chromatic Abominations, Blue Horrors, Pink Horrors, Marauders. I'm worried about the Tzeentch build. I feel like it's too generic to beat the Skaven. Because Tzeentch has some things they can do here, but you really gotta, like, lean into it. You gotta go hard into something. It's hard to take a balanced, well-rounded build into Skaven and win, as any faction, right? You kind of, like... Sorry. I want to talk about this, but I don't want to miss all of the game. When you want to beat Skaven, like in this example, maybe he'll win the game, I don't know. But I feel like, alright, you're trying to shoot him a little bit with Horrors and Pink Horrors, and you're trying to kite maybe with the Soul Grinder, but then you have Rush elements in the Cockatrice and all these Furies, so like, what are we doing? Either get rid of all this range shit and grab some Chaos Spawn for some mass and some Chaos Knights to go around the flanks, maybe some Screamers to go over the top, or I would say cut the Marauders, have some horrors, and then go like full scumbag barrier regen kite with maybe some like Changebringers or something or whatever. But generally going hybrid against the Skaven isn't the way to go, but we'll see. It's not a terrible build, I'm just saying. I think you could optimize it a little bit against your specific opponent. Chaos Furies diving onto Rat Ogres is interesting. They are going to get the charge and whatnot, but I still feel like it's not a good trade for them, unfortunately. Soul Grinder, I don't know what he's going to do. Tzeentch is a pretty smart pick for this, because Tzeentch is much harder to snipe. The blue fire won't do as much damage to him, but also it's hard to find him, because he's invisible a lot of the time. And the Soul Grinder also won't be able to snipe him unless you throw someone into the fray. I like this a lot more than the Rat Ogre play. Furies diving straight onto it, Zap Zap, doing insane damage and taking it out. These Furies actually did do better against the Rat Ogres than I thought, but still not amazing. Where did the Teethbreakers go? Did they just die? Because they were getting shot when I was talking to you guys, and I paused the game, and now they're just gone, so it looks like they died. Yeah, there they all are. There's their little bodies. Hey, Teethbreakers! Oh, God, they suck. All right, Chaos Furies and the Cockatrice trying to deal with all this stuff over here. Cockatrice is losing a bunch of leadership, which is, wow, it is losing a lot of leadership for how healthy it is. That's kind of insane. Blue Horrors are trading well with the Skaven Slave Slingers. And Tzeentch is out here doing his spinny spin to take out some of these Marauders of Tzeentch, and then I'm guessing he and the Triads probably want to go fight the Pink Horrors in melee, so they don't just want to sit here taking this fight. Jezzail's poking down the Herald of Tzeentch, which is really good. There's no healing on this roster for him at all. There's none. So any damage is good damage, and that's a good cast. Noticing 2 infantry units blobbed up on each other get a nice little Warp Lightning cast, that's good. It's good stuff. Skaven are doing okay. I know they're currently down the balance of power. Ow, that hurts so bad. Final Transmutation Overcast onto Tzeentch with his teeny tiny health pool, and then he takes a Bolt of Change. I like that he can avoid a lot of the snipe and stuff, but man, his health bar does hurt when you finally get some good snipe onto him. Soul Grinder might also want to start hitting him now that he's visible, and they might need to start scumming with Tzeentch a bit and like get him way back into the trees or something. Everybody's throwing out Teethbreaker puns. And the Natty Boobo Sharpshooters are trying to kill this Herald of Tzeentch, but he's a dodgy little fella up in the sky, taking some damage. We'll see if it pays off. It is very, like, all or nothing. If this guy lives with 1% HP and doesn't Demonic Instability crumble, then he might as well be full health, because he's just a caster. But if you can kill him, then it was super worth it, because now the whole Tzeentch roster takes a whole bunch of stuff. As we have a Howling Warp Gale netting the Cockatrice in the middle of Eshin Triads and Rat Ogres, and he's getting shot at by Natty Boobo Sharpshooters. That's going to be a lot of damage. The Soul Grinder has turned its ire onto the Natty Boobos. And with the recent projectile changes, the Soul Grinder does so much more damage to weapons teams. When he does, they have the thing now where if you throw a projectile, they aim at 4 different models. That's so good for killing off these poor little Skaven Warp Black Jezzails. In comes another shot. Ugh. It hurts. They're routing. Rat Ogres near them are routing. Everybody's routing. And the Cockatrice is quite damaged. It gets Zap Zap. The heroes are back online, but they're missing every shot versus the Tzeentch caster there. They finally hit him. We can see it because the barriers go away. And why are you routing? You stupid bastard. Get back in there. You're over half HP, you cowardly fuck. You get in there. I hate Skaven so much right now. You have no idea. Ica Zap Zap's trying to deal with the Herald while it's getting shot by these Pink Horrors. The Warlock Engineer does manage to come back. The Cockatrice looks like he's going for a dive. Howling Warp Gale's going to lock him in place. His Deathmatch Stitch and they run around. But the Skaven are just running out of morale. There's still a bunch of Blue Horrors to deal with. The Soul Grinder's full HP, and even though he's out of ammo almost, I mean, he's still going to run up and wreck some fools in melee. Hit Tzeentch with a big old blast. And I think the Skaven are in deep shit. Warlock Engineer saw the balance of power and dipped. It's true. Tzeentch hops back in for a really good little vortex there. Did a lot of damage to the Blue Horrors and whatnot. I think it's just too little too late. It was a heroic effort by Tzeentch to get something done. But the Soul Grinder volley plus the Sour Guts volley does so much damage to him. It looks like the Soul Grinder's going to finish sniping him off here as he just threw at him. In comes the shot. He's almost dead. The Cockatrice will finish him off. Without Tzeentch, a whole bunch of stuff's going to shatter, and then the shattering stuff will make the balance of power so bad that it'll go into army losses. So you're about to see a cascading effect. There they go. There they go again. Chat, I do not say for worth where I'm out on Reddit. Damn it, Tequila Sunset! Tequila Sunset, also a Warhammer streamer, who's not plugging his channel right now, Sunset. There's 240 people here, Tequila Sunset. That seems like a good time to plug your channel in the chat, because you just did a tournament last night. You've done like 3 tournaments this week. If people want to check out your content, they might want to do that, Tequila Sunset, so maybe plug your fucking channel. I mean, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Don't do it. I don't care. It's whatever. Thanks, Philip. Thanks. I hope you're having a good weekend. I'm having a bad weekend, but this is making it a bit better. This is making it a bit better. We've had some good games today. People have been very nice. Legend of Total War was very, very nice for waiting for me to get started. But yeah, we had a gas leak in our house before I got to start the stream, so the stream got very delayed, and I was quite upset. He's plugging his real hustle. I see. Guillaume's here. Another good streamer. See, I gotta make it... Guillaume, I gotta make it entertaining, though. Look at that Soul Grinder value. Look at that. 2,400 on a Soul Grinder. That is brutal stuff. Alright, Hellions down 1-0. You guys know the drill by now. Put you behind a little blocker for just a second as I load up game 2. We'll see if he can turn it around, or if Brutus will go 2-0. There it is. There it is. I know things from time to time. Brutus hopping on the vampire counts. If Hellion lost game 1, this is going to be a really tough game 2, fighting against the vampire counts specialist on his best faction. See what he can do. Beastmen they're a roster that can fight back against the vampire counts. Not that the vampire counts are a particularly scary faction right now. They're fine. I would honestly say they're a little weak. But you know what's funny? It's weird. I complain about mains a lot, faction mains, because myself included, I'm not exempt from it, but like faction mains in general whine and moan constantly. Again, I'm part of it, about how bad their faction is. Like, I'm always griping about Skaven, right? Vampire counts, the only 3 vampire counts mains I know right now all disagree with me when I say vampire counts suck and they need buffs. All 3 vampire counts mains I know are like, no, they're actually not that bad. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just take the win. Like, I'm constantly talking to CA about how they should buff vampire counts in multiplayer, and all the vampire counts mains are like, nah, fuck it. We don't need it. What are you doing? How was Legend nice? He announced that we're doing this and all that stuff. Promoted us on his channel. Alright, we have some Blood Knights, Dire Pack, Zombie Frontline backed up by Skeleton Spears. We do have a Claw of Nagash Mortis Engine, a Corpse Cart Unholy Lodestone for the extra healing stack, and then a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. For the Beastmen, it's a bunch of mobility all day. Centaur Throwing Axes, Centaurs of Tzeentch, Gorgon, Jabberscythe, and Malagor Dark Omen with Doom and Darkness, and then Flock of Doom. The Blood Knights will get a lot of value out, though, as there's nothing to contest them. There's no Minotaurs, there's nothing like that. So whenever they catch a Centaur, as you can see in the distance, that Centaur dies. Now, this big overcrush of Beastmen, especially the Centaurs of Tzeentch with their really high stats and good armor piercing, now they're crushing the Blood Knights because, like, to be fair, the Blood Knights were fighting a 2v4, and they're starting to lose it, but the Blood Knights are not going out without a fight. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, I honestly think he should have been over here providing that Helm of Discord buff to help out his Blood Knights, but it looks like he's taking a 1v1. That quickly turns into a 2v1 that he doesn't want, so don't love that. Could be sporting his Blood Knights as they catch another Centaur. The Northern Blood Knights are having a field day, taking one Centaur at a time, slowly to their death. The Southern Blood Knights were born in fire, bathed and molded in it as they were abandoned by their lord and fucking disintegrate. That is a big loss for vampire counts. I do think that is just a mistake overall. But the Northern Blood Knights are doing great. They're doing fantastic. Gyama, another content creator, plugging Tequila Sunset, a different content creator. Got some good shit going on here as Blood Knights are going to fight back against the Centaurs. Still taking a lot of damage. We need to see some invocation of the heck for them, and there is one just as I've said it. Throwing axes are taking a little bit of a toll on them, though throwing axes don't hit as many models as they do for like a big single entity that can just deplete it. They do okay. And the Blood Knights charging back here to get in the stacking regen auras of the Unholy Lodestone, and stop doing that. Whatever. It's next to the Mortis Engine and the Unholy Lodestone, which both offer some healing. A Doom and Darkness is cast on the corpse card. I think that was meant for the Blood Knights, but it was a misclick. He wants to keep them crumbling or even disintegrating away. Beastmen are ahead on the balance of power for now, and the vampire count's in a bit of a dire state. Both their Blood Knights have taken significant damage. I mean, one's literally dead, and that one's about to be. Claw of Nagash is still very healthy. There's still a lot of undead infantry to shield the Claw of Nagash with. Still the Crypt Horror, and the Blood Dragon Lord, of course, is just chilling. For the Beastmen, they're critical throwing axes to deal with the Claw of Nagash. They've been busy throwing at Blood Knights, throwing at Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Not bad targets at all, though the vampire counts are rubbing their greedy little hands together whenever a Mortis engine can get out of the early game without taking a whole ton of archer fire. Because in the late game, it's just going to grind through you. Like, even Centaurs don't want to deal with the Mortis engine at all. So as long as the Blood Dragon Lord can keep the Gorgon a little honest like this, like, the Gorgon's going for the Claw of Nagash, but has to fight on Blood Knights, zombies, and then get cycle charged by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, that's exactly what you have to do. Where it's like, you don't need to kill the Gorgon right away, you just need to keep whittling it down slowly but surely while your Mortis engine will heal itself. Your Mortis engine will be fine. It's completely surrounded in its own support. You don't care. Just like keep refreshing that charge bonus, keep getting advantageous fights, take that Gorgon down nice and slowly. It's totally fine for the Vampire Counts to do this. Biggest thing I can say to Vampire Counts players, like, well, that good Vampire Council players will tell you is patience. You just gotta you gotta use your time because your faction strengths are being unbreakable and a fuck ton of healing. So, like, let the game go long. You don't care. Let it go long. See what happens. All your shit's going to be heal capping, and they're going to run out of gas. As this Gorgon's almost heal capping, the Blood Dragon Lord's fine. It's even going to rout away here in a second. There's an overcasted Doom and Darkness as Malagor desperately tries to get some of these things to start crumbling or even disintegrating, especially that Blood Knight right there. Just want to keep them nice and low. Get rid of those guys as the Blood Dragon Lord still keeps trying to hit the Jabberscythe and the Gorgon. The Jabberscythe is in here. Oh, that's why he's doing it. The Jabberscythe's Mortis effect, the area effect damage, only applies when you're low on leadership. So the Doom and Darkness plus Undead's natural low leadership does make it so that Jabber can proc a lot more frequently. I'm getting a ton of texts. Are any of them important right now? No, but I'm throwing my phone to the other side of the room so you guys can't hear it. Okay. Gorgon is being chased off by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. We do have some Centaurs that could, like, technically be following him around, but I don't know how much they're going to do. They're not Centaurs of Tzeentch. They don't have that crazy armor-piercing value. As they're just, like, kind of at a loss for what to do now. The Jabberscythe is stuck in this bad spot, but even if he escapes, just how do you handle the Claw of Nagash? You can't. And the Blood Dragon Lord will be nearby whenever he's needed. So the Claw of Nagash can kill everything that's not a single entity, and the Blood Dragon Lord can easily body this Gorgon that's currently routing, a Jabberscythe that's taking an insane amount of damage, and a current blob that is trying to path its way out of, and of course Malagor can't threaten him. So Brutus has all the cards in his hands right now as long as he doesn't get too antsy. You can notice that his Blood Dragon Lord has stopped trying to attack the Gorgon whenever the Centaurs come near. He just gets back up into the sky and follows it because he doesn't care as long as it gets off the map. The worst thing for him would be the Blood Dragon Lord lands completely alone, gets cycle charged by Centaurs over and over again while they're throwing axes at him, and this slow blob of Vampire Count's troops is left behind while he dies in the forest. I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but it's literally the only way the Vampire Counts lose from this point, so he keeps the Blood Dragon Lord in the air. Why tempt fate? It's fine. And from this point, it is doomed. I think one Blood Dragon Breath attack onto this clump of Centaurs would end the game. Crypt Horrors and the Claw of Nagash coming for that booty. And Hellion is just going to back out. That is a 2-0 to Brutus. For Hellion, I think his build was pretty decent. Yeah, it was pretty decent. Throwing axes, I saw one of them and a Centaur get caught for free on the top side fighting the Blood Knights, the one that got a ton of value. This one. So obviously those mistakes can't happen. When you have a build like this, all of your units are expensive and they're all important, so any mistakes really cost you, while like normal builds with zombies or clan rats or Empire swordsmen, it's like, oh no, a swordsman was out of position. Okay, who cares? But with these high execution builds, it's like, yes, everything on your roster is a threat, but also if you make any mistakes, you just lost something that actually matters. For Brutus, his Lord did fine. Crypt Horrors did a good job of body blocking for the Claw of Nagash. Claw of Nagash got 1,600 value. And then the Blood Knights also did pretty good work. Now this one, the one that got in like the 4v2 fight where it had the Dire Pack next to it and then they both just died, that was pretty brutal. And Hellion got a lot of value off that, but the rest of the game was the vampire counts favored. Now, GG lads, GG. Take you back to the blocker screen as we pick our next series here. I know Romulan Dog sent me his replays. I have a bunch. So I don't want... I don't want to just be like, I'll cast whoever sends me replays right now, and then I get spammed with shit, and people who sent them ahead of time are like, what the fuck? But I also don't want to just ignore Romulan Dog, so... I'll cast his after this one. I'll cast somebody else's first. That's a lot of Beastmen. We've been casting Beastmen all day. I know it's just going to be the meta factions, so it is what it is. But you can still, like, kind of curate it so it's a little different. Ha! This is wild. Alright, I'll cast this. What the hell? Alright, we have Lucinia Marzik, also known as Pegas. I'll just go with Pegas since it's what's on screen. Versus Persian Warrior. This series, I won't spoil how many games it goes through for you, but in the games that that are available to us, some wild builds. Some wild builds. Need to delete one more. Nope. See, that didn't help. There we go. That's more centered. So what do we have here? To start off, Demons of Chaos of Pegas versus the Dark Elves of Persian Warrior. We have Screaming Skyrays, bunch of Chaos Furies of Khorne, Screamers as well, Nurgling frontline, Bloodletters of Khorne backing them up, Blue Horrors behind that, and then 4 Plague Toads of Nurgle. We do have a Herald of Slaanesh on our little Hellstrider with Acquiescence and Rampage. You know, side for the Dark Elves, we do have Black Orchestra Hambos. They're pretty good in general. Double Bloodrack Medusa. Double Bloodrack Medusa Kite has become a thing that's being talked a lot about in competitive because they do so much damage to the Bloodletters, especially after they got some spread there. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows with Pendulum and Melkoths, and then some Harpies and some Dark Riders. But it is really about the double Bloodrack Kite. Decent duelists with good anti-large and whatnot, but their projectiles are good versus pretty much any type of unit. And their kite is very strong. Oop, but here comes a Rampage. Now the Bloodrack Medusa cannot kite away. It is stuck in melee. Unfortunately, the demons didn't really have anything to punish it right here, right now. Like, the Screamers aren't in position to go get it. And it's not like it's going to die immediately, but whatever. Still a decent Rampage as Chaos Furies of Khorne fight against the Harpies. The Chaos Furies of Khorne should win, though I wonder if their Demonic Instability will trigger too early and they'll get pushed away. As the Medusa's Rampage is worn off, that one is still kind of stuck in a shit ton of demons. And the other one is being chased down by Plague Toads for now. Dark Elves getting quickly overwhelmed. We'll see if the demons have enough left in the tank to win once they catch them. As we can see, these 360 archers and the kiting Medusas have done a decent amount of damage to these guys. These Furies are almost dead. Nurgling's taking a lot of damage. Bloodletters are pretty close to dead as well. So the demons finally caught up to you, but do they have the strength left to actually kill you when they get here? Pendulum goes down the line of the Bloodletters, does less damage than one volley from the Bloodrack Medusa. Don't know if that's a slight on Pendulum or if that's more of saying how frickin' good the Bloodrack Medusas are right now. Medusa running away as the Blue Horrors are doing a lot of damage, and that does seem to be one of the better ways of dealing with Bloodrack Medusas in this new meta of them being strong. You need to surround them with cavalry or mass, or you need to shoot at them, because they still take a lot of damage from getting shot. Doesn't mean they're not strong, just saying those are easier ways to deal with them. The Screamers and Furies seem to be doing pretty well in the skies overall. We still have 1 healthy Khorne Fury, 2 healthy Khorne Furies, and then I did see the Shrieking Skyrays are quite healthy, and another Screamer. So yeah, out of the 6 flying units that the Demons of Chaos brought, 2 of them are dead, which, I mean, not terrible. Chaos Fury of Khorne fading away in front of our eyes, so I guess there were 5 still alive, though now they're dead. And the Bloodrack Medusa is in the worst position. It hates being here. Sure, it has bonus which is large and it has good melee stats, but it doesn't have high armor, it doesn't have a lot of HP, and it has no healing whatsoever, so it really does not want to be in melee if it can ever avoid it. The demons are still trying to chase the Dark Elves around. They're trying to kite back, but they're getting dangerously close to the white line, which is a problem for them, because then if they route, they go straight off the map. It's not as much like a rule break, how dare you get close to the white line. I'm more scared for the people getting close to the white line. Because you see these Dark Riders are routing, and unless they rally real quick, they're just going straight off the map. Which the demons are fine with. The demons literally can't route. They don't give a single shit about the white line being there. Harpy's also getting close to routing, though we are losing some Plague Toads. Screamer's also taking a lot of damage. And the Shrieking Skyrays are in this fight. Looks like they were trying to fight the Bloodwrack Medusa, who's now kiting away. Gets a shot down the side of the Blue Horse. Gets a little bit of damage down. Supreme Sorceress of Shadows, for just a hot second, stood in some Bloodletters and did not enjoy it. Needed to run away post-haste. Promptly. Swift of hoof. Demons enjoying this blob fight for now. For now being a pretty key word, but oh, that Bloodwrack Medusa friendly fire! Did you just see that giant burst under the Crows of Cain? That was horrendous. That was horrible. That was horrible. Why would you do that? Shrieking Skyray is still falling around the Bloodwrack Medusa. Dark Elves still slightly ahead on the balance of power, and I guess they still have Medusas who, if they can get them to safety, do have an awful lot of ammunition left to kite. Bloodwrack Medusa acquiescence, slowing her down and lowering her melee defense by a lot as Shrieking Skyrays try and take her out. Supreme Sorceress Shadows coming over. But she's not really a good melee combatant either, so Shrieking Skyrays will fight either of you all day. Blackheart Corsairs with a lot of ammunition. Bloodwrack Medusa with a lot of ammunition, though. The Dark Elves can still do a lot of kiting. How much can these healthy Chaos Furies of Khorne do? And a Chaos Fury summon, because they got to do a lot. They got to go catch those kiting units. Herald of Slaanesh running around doing what she can as Bloodwrack Medusa tries to aim a shot at her. It does a good little bit of damage, which is part of the reason they're so strong. There's not, like, bad targets for them. The Herald is moving in. Acquiescence again, lowering that speed and melee defense. As now it looks like the Herald herself is on the hunt to take some of this out. He's going to hop in here. I'll angle the camera so you can maybe see what's going on back there, but we are going to focus on this for just a second. It could be pivotal if the Herald of Slaanesh can actually take out this Bloodwrack Medusa. I also wonder if they've been getting any of their demonic army abilities. For the Demons of Chaos, you only stack them up for your Lord dealing damage, so I guess that's a little harder for like a Herald of Slaanesh to do than like Be'lakor. But I mean, she's getting some damage done, so I would be surprised to see what RNG gifts them. Herald of Slaanesh still botting the Bloodwrack Medusa for now. Shrieking Skyrays barely staying in it as Sweet Sorrow is cast for them. Tier 1 army ability of Slaanesh giving them vigor and speed, but it's mostly the vigor. I think he just wanted to get them back to perfect vigor. Yeah, there it is for the leadership. And now this is turning into a terrible problem for the Dark Elves. The Bloodwrack Medusa is routing as Shrieking Skyrays chase it down. And the Herald of Slaanesh is a better combatant than a basic Supreme Sorceress. That's, like, say what you will about the Herald of Slaanesh. I don't think she's a great lord, but she is better than a Sorceress of the Dark Elves in melee. Acquiescence slows her down, lowers that melee defense, but this time it was mostly cast for the slow. On the other side, the Demons of Chaos still just trying to catch up to this brutal kite, taking so much damage. The Chaos Furies of Khorne are about to die. Nurgling's still very healthy. The Shrieking Skyrays need to stay alive. A Melkoth is cast onto them, trying to poke them down low enough that demonic stability takes them away. It looks like that's going to be a tall ask when they're chasing off a unit that's already routing. That is a leadership buff in itself that nearby enemies are routing. And man, that Supreme Sorceress took so much damage. Can the Medusa carry, who is down to half HP? While it wasn't on our screen, it apparently took about a quarter of his HP. Thanks, Wesley. Hope you're hanging around. We are getting dangerously close to 10k subscribers, so if you aren't subscribed, think about doing that. If you don't feel like doing that, that's also okay, but I will hate you forever. Herald of Slaanesh gets another Sweet Sorrow, so another Tier 1 army ability of Slaanesh. Just trying to give her speed. She gets 140 speed with all those buffs, and then she runs towards this lady. Acquiescence is popped again. Not saving any Winds of Magic for those rampages, just constantly casting it for the Acquiescence over and over again. I think a little bit of desperation, like, I need this right now, but you say it over and over again, so you never have the Winds of Magic for a true rampage. Melkoth is cast onto the Herald of Slaanesh, not for the damage, but for the slow. Both sides really playing on slows and speed this game, as it is about who can catch who. A big demonic force in the distance is slowly trying to catch up, though they were routing something off the map, and it looks like they're going to get here too late, one way or the other. The demons will win without them, or the demons will win, or the demons will lose without them. They're not going to get here in time. Is a very long way of saying a very simple concept. Shrieking Skyrays finished off the Bloodwrack Medusa. They are here now, poking down the Blackheart Corsairs with their Lamprey's Bite. And they're diving down. The Herald's very surrounded, but it looks like the Shrieking Sky Rays have better things to do right now as they try and rout the Supreme Sorceress. She's gonna get away. The little Sky Rays aren't fast enough, and there's another Acquiescence, but another Melkoth. Both sides slowing each other, but the Melkoth is going to do decent damage to these guys, but they do get 1, maybe 2 hits off onto the Supreme Sorceress. They get a little bit of damage, and they manage to rout her. They're not going to be able to kill her. Definitely not. They're way too low for that. They will die in just a second here, but they're getting decent damage onto her. Took 300 of her 600 HP before fading away. Is that enough? She is an elf, and elves have crazy high leadership. Not that it's a problem, just stating it as a fact. They do have very high leadership, so she'll probably be back. She's already down to -5 leadership. So it should be getting better for her as she gets some distance. The Blood Arm Caduceus is still kiting away. And the Demons of Chaos are up on the balance of power. But I really do think this is anyone's game at this point. As the Plague Toads from across the entire map do finally get here. Nurglings are still trying to catch up. The Crows of Cain are pushed away as the Herald of Slaanesh breaks to safety. But there it is. +6 leadership. Supreme Sorceress comes back for just a second, then routs again. Oh no. Is she in the leadership loop where every time she rallies, she'll just rout herself and then that shatters her off the map? Hard to tell, but the Herald of Slaanesh is currently getting poked at by the Bloodrack Medusa, who's definitely trying to take out the demonic leadership. Despite all of the leadership buffs, you can still really punish a demonic army by taking out their lord. But it looks like the Dark Elf caster is back. 6 leadership, 300 HP. If she routs one more time, she shatters, and she's right next to the edge of the map. She's trying to come back, but that Hellstrider caster is after a 90 speed versus 83. Plague Toads routing off some stuff. The Bloodrack Medusa is still trying to kite around, trying to stop her one shot here onto the Plague Toads. Gets a little bit of damage out, and there's a Melkoth. Teeny tiny damage onto the Herald of Slaanesh, but it's supposed to be about the slow, and there's -3 leadership. She shatters right off the map! That could be it for the Dark Elves. As we can see, these Dread Spears will rout. As soon as she goes off the map, they'll rout. Blackheart Corsairs, they'll rally unless something stays after them. Looks like the Plague Toads are on that. The Crows of Cain will have difficulties coming back without their lord. So yeah, that'll probably put the nail in the coffin for the Dark Elves as soon as she figures out how to leave the map. There you go. Say goodbye to those Dread Spears, but maybe say goodbye to the Herald of Slaanesh. She takes a big volley from Bloodrack Medusa, whose leadership is also suffering quite a lot, but can it hang on long enough to kill the Herald of Slaanesh? Takes another shot as she's stuck on the cliffs, nowhere cover to go. She was trying to get to the trees, but it didn't make it. But it didn't make it! Pavane of Slaanesh, a final Rampage cast from the Dying Lord, could seal the game, because this Bloodrack Medusa, if it can kite back to the Blackheart Corsairs and stuff, it could legitimately be a threat in this game, but it rampages straight into some Nurglings taking damage it really can't afford to take right now, considering it's the only balance of power the Dark Elves have. It's just surrounded by Nurglings taking so much damage. Starts to maybe kite away soon. Blackheart Corsairs running over to help, but 1 leadership is not a lot as the Nurglings are hopping, laughing, cackling their way in. The Bloodrack Medusa's like, please, somebody save me, as the Blackheart Corsairs abandon her to her fate. She's the only thing left. She has to attack something, some now. Now she just has to make her stand. Fires uphill towards the Plague Toads, and all their leadership is getting low. They did just lose their lord after all, but she's got nowhere left to go. There's too many Nurglings. She stops. She fights. Leadership spikes up for just a second. It's down to 14. It's down to 0. She can't hold. She's just one lady made out of snakes. Will you continue series of sweat builds? Yeah. This is the Warpstone Cup is like our world championship. So everybody here is trying. They're trying to win. Everybody here's trying to win. So yeah, this stream is going to be entirely builds that people think are good and think can win them games. If that's what you mean. If you want more casual content, we do host a new player tournament every week. And we'll do some of that stuff. But this stream is going to be people trying to win. I scrolled through the values really fast, but the Slaanesh Caster and the Screamers did fine. Bloodletters got kited. Plague Toads did pretty good. They did pretty good work. Running down a lot of things. Caster's a Corn were fine. You just needed the aerial presence. It's just about that. Persian Warrior, Bloodrack Medusas both did pretty well. His Caster did okay. Crows of Cain did fine. His kiting units did pretty well. The other Harpies, and then his Dread Spears got completely rolled over. His Dark Riders didn't have much to do either. GG. So that is a win for Pegas. Game 2. Another Demons of Chaos game, but this time versus Nurgle. Persian Warrior takes them up. And I told you this series had some wild builds. We have Tamarkan. I always say his name wrong. We have Big Maggot Man and Nurgle versus an Exalted Great Unclean One, double Bloodthirster, and then some Changebringers. Was I wrong to assume the tourney was for a big chunk of Warpstone? Ramen Dog, you are exactly right. You're exactly correct. For Nurgle here and Pegaz, we have Tamarkon. I think I got it right for the first time in my life. Honest Toad Dragon, which you almost never see. We do have a Chaos Sorcerer of Death, Doom and Darkness, and Spirit Leech. 2 Chaos Knights of Nurgle, a front line of Plague Toads of Nurgle, 4 Marauders in the back, and 2 Chaos Furies. On the other side, for the Demons, a small army, but a deadly army. Great Unclean One of Nurgle with Fleshy Abundance as his only spell. He just brought the heal. He has Plague Bearers to help him out. Changebringers, 3 Chaos Furies of Tzeentch for some kite, and then double Bloodthirster for some flying anti-large armor piercing. The Changebringer's going to have a field day as Nurgle brought no ranged and no flying of any kind. So the Changebringer's going to take full advantage of that. Shoot Tamarkon, who does pop his Nurgle's favorite son. 20% more defense, plus he has 25% missile resistance already. But in the background, Chaos Furies of Nurgle getting deleted as Persian Warrior correctly acknowledges that without the Chaos Furies, there is literally nothing that can harm the Changebringers all game. I suppose they could get Spirit Leech spam, but he didn't bring Fate of Bunas. It's not like they're really in that much danger. Aerial advantage secured for the Demons of Chaos as the first Toad Dragon Breath attack comes in. Does do a little bit of damage to some Plague Bearers. I mean, yeah, it's good poke. It's good poke. It's fine stuff. The Changebringers are going to make his life so miserable. I think he has to find a way to get into this fight as quickly as possible and at least get some value out before he dies. Can't wait until the Changebringers get twice the value of both Bloodthirsters. They probably will, but, like, I understand why he brought all this stuff. He needs to make sure he has aerial supremacy. Otherwise, what's the point of bringing the Changebringers? Fury's still fighting in the background. Changebringer's continuing to kite it out and do good damage to Tamarkon, who does charge in. Hits a Bloodthirster on the side. Spirit Leech onto him, too. I don't love using Spirit Leech onto the Corn Demon, because Corn Demons are specifically the ones that have the spell resistance. And the other one is charging straight for the Sorcerer of Death, trying to take him out, while the Changebringers also offer a bit of fire. They're not doing too much damage to the tiny little caster, but I guess I got some bleed over fire onto the Chaos Knights. Tamarkon is kicking this Bloodthirster's ass, who is trying to back up towards the Plague Bearer's safety that they have. So they just have this, like, Exalted Great Unclean One, Plague Bearer safety net, and then everything else they have is flying, so they can retreat when they need to get off the ground. They can retreat back to this blob, get in it, get back up into the sky, and choose a new engagement. Tamarkon's taking a whole bunch of damage. And it's a tough time for him. Nurgle, in general, doesn't have a lot of range that he can really deal with. Nice breath attack, good angle. Anyway, doesn't have a lot of range that he can deal with flyers, and doesn't have the most flyers, but I do think in this matchup you need Plague Drones, or you need Fate of Buna, because if you don't secure some form of anti-air, whether it's your own air units or spells or something, this is going to happen to you. And nobody listens to me. I mean, Pestigores are a fine unit. Pestigores are fine. That's fine. But, like, I still would have preferred Ungor Raider Archers for Nurgle and just make them, like, Nurgle-y. But, I don't know. I wish rosters had basic Archers just because it stops you from getting air cheese through whatnot. Because for Nurgle to have aerial presence at all, you have to pretty much get Plague Drones, which are super expensive. And yeah, he just forfeits at that point, realizing he can't do anything. His opponent's strategy was just too strong versus what he brought. Nurgle don't have the most flyers. They don't well, like, Rot Flies suck. Their Furies are okay. So you'd have to go, like, Plague Drones, which is a pretty heavy commitment. But, yeah. Pretty one-sided game. Neat build here from the Demons of Chaos, and it clearly paid off. Last game. They go all the way to game 3. Two very weird matchups with weird builds. Game 3 is a bit more standard, but it's still got some spice in it. Warriors of Chaos with a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch. Not something you see often. You usually just see Archaon and maybe Sigvald here and there. Versus Beastmen. The Beastmen build's a little more typical. As many Centaurs as you can cram into a build because they're real strong right now. I'm gonna cast her in some garbage. If Drycha can have corrupted elf units, so could Slaanesh. It's a pretty good take. I like that take. Alright, for the Warriors of Chaos, we do have a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch, the non-sorcerer one with just Colossal Strike on the disc. We do have the Skull of Catan Final Transmutation combo to try and get one super juicy Final Trans off. And we have 2 Armored Chaos Trolls, a Severed Claw Aspiring Champions, 1 Rot Knight, and then Chaos Warriors and Marauder frontline with some Halberds in there. Spirit of the Gorg. Say the A and Tamarkand like the first A in Apartheid, and Khan like Genghis Khan. You know what? Spirit of the Gorg, I refuse. I will always say it wrong. On the other side for the Beastmen, Butchers of Kalkengard, Centaurs of Tzeentch, Centaurs regular, some throwing axes, and in the trees we do have a Brave Shaman of Death with Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech. Though none of those will help him if a mega overcasted Final Trans deletes his ass. Warriors of Chaos slowly pushing up as the Beastmen attempt to do a little bit of kiting here with their throwing axes. And they do have some flanking forces. The Minotaurs with Grey Opens currently not spotted at all. There's a Spirit Leech onto the Chaos Lord. Don't know if the Beastmen are really going to get that much by kiting with the throwing axes, but I suppose they might as well. As the infantry of the Warriors of Chaos just march ever onwards. They don't care. They don't stop for nothing. Rot Knights are in as well. Chaos Lord's still taking a bit of damage here. And in come the Butchers of Kalkengard, rear charging some Marauders, immediately terror routing them off. We'll see how well these guys do when they get to the Halberds. Here the Halberds are explicitly trying to ignore the Centaurs of Tzeentch. That's dangerous. These guys do have armor piercing. You will have to turn and fight them at some point. Otherwise they'll get punished. A big old blob is forming here. Now, fortunately for the Forces of Chaos, the Beastmen didn't bring blob punishment spells. Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech do the same amount of damage, regardless if you're next to friends or not. But, like, you know, a Burning Head or a Traitorkin would do a lot more versus that blob. So I guess there's not as much on the Warriors of Chaos to avoid blobbing up. In the distance, more Minotaurs fighting on top of Ogre Spearman Herds versus Trolls and Halberds and Marauders. Chaos will eventually win those fights, though it'll take a while. I'm being careful not to miss the Final Transmutation because it is going to be a big part of the Warrior Chaos's game plan. Another Spirit Leech onto a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch is currently surrounded by Butchers of Kalkengard and Centaurs. He is having a terrible time, and Rot Knights are even committed to try and bail him out, but the Rot Knights are way over their heads, taking so much damage, and here it comes. God, like, it's early to say it, but honestly, the last hope of the Warriors of Chaos is to get this Skull of Catan Overcast Final Transmutation, just delete the Beastman Lord and maybe bail them out, because look at the Rot Knights getting murdered, look at the Chaos Lord of Tzeentch getting just massacred, and some aspects of the front line are going fine for the Warriors of Chaos, but it feels like across the board, Beastmen are just beating the shit out of him. Scroll of Shielding mitigates some of the damage from the Final Transmutation combo, and he is still alive. Chaos Lord of Tzeentch breaks out of his bad situation, though he is below half HP. It's a rear charge onto the Great Brave Shaman of Death and might rout him off, but it took an entire Rot Knight and over half of your Lord's HP bar to snipe out this guy. We'll see if it's even worth it, as here come the Centaurs of Tzeentch, the Centaurs regular too. That's a lot of scary armor-piercing Beastmen. The rest of the Warriors of Chaos still trudging along wherever they can get a fight that's standing there and like actually dealing with their melee stats. The Warriors of Chaos are doing okay, but anything mobility related, they're just getting completely clowned on. The Rot Knights being murdered, the Lord whenever he lands gets surrounded and fucked up. It's brutal stuff here. Alright, y'all are talking about lore stuff, which is for nerds. And also, there's a lot going on, so I don't have a ton of time to just sit and talk to you people about lore. Great Brave Shaman of Death is trying to be rallied by these Centaurs, but, I mean, with Chaos Sorcerer of Metal just hovering right above him, he is going off the map. Doesn't matter what he does about it. Chaos Lord of Tzeentch is fighting to the very end. Butchers of Kalkengard is still full HP. They are getting flanked by armored Chaos Trolls, but that doesn't seem to matter too much. Oh, okay, that got a little risky. Metalcaster almost let the Beastman Lord escape, and the bounce power is equalizing a little bit. I guess if you lose your caster and your lord, maybe the Warriors of Chaos infantry can clear this, but they're about to lose their Chaos Lord themselves. Rot Knight's trying to get a rear charge here on the Centaurs of Tzeentch, who do not countercharge yet, so they just lose their barriers for free, and they're going to try and get away from these Nurgle guys. Try is a pretty key word. I think eventually they'll just have to fight their way out. Micro is slipping a bit, though. The Metal Caster lets him get out of range. He immediately gets orders to get back over there, but does the Great Shaman rally anyway? It doesn't look like he does, so he does go off the map. Meanwhile, Butcher's Crown Guard still trying to kill the Chaos Lord of Tzeentch down to 96 HP. He does finally die, so both sides lose their Lord back to back. But Warriors of Chaos have a Hero Caster, so they still have Final Transmutation for when they need it. So Severed Claw are getting kited out by throwing axes in the distance. That is really good use of your throwing axe ammunition. And over here, this is a good pick for the Warriors of Chaos. Minotaurs with Grey Weapons completely surrounded and getting beat up by Halberds, Marauders, and these Trolls. There's no hope for saving them. Warriors of Chaos do still have some forces in the distance they can rally, and it's looking like the Butchers of Khaldgard need to blow the Horn of Gondor, need to rally the troops, because they are the last bastion of strength for the Beastmen here. They have some other stuff, but like real strength is coming from a full health Butcher's Khaldgard and nothing else. Did this guy get a Bune off or something? No, he got a couple Spirit Leeches and then died. Centaurs and the Butchers getting really good damage onto these Marauders, but yeah, that Minotaur with Grey Opens has shattered. Pretty great stuff for the Warriors of Chaos as they finally pull ahead on the balance of power. Butchers continue to fight it out. We still have some Centaurs of Tzeentch who are very low, but they're returning to the fight. There's one that's above half HP. We have throwing axes that are about out of ammunition. The Groghooves can heal up, while the other ones can't heal, but still have a lot of HP. Severed Claw are feeling a little lonely out here. Just getting cycle charged by Centaurs over and over again. Waiting to die. And this guy, I have only seen him use literally one Final Transmutation, so he has to have plenty left in the bank. I wonder if he's trying to just save them for like a hyper late game blob or something, but I feel like when the Beastmen have this much mobility advantage over you, it would be a serious misplay for them to just sit in a blob and let you do that. You're probably only going to get one target Final Transmutation anyway, so I'd probably just start casting him on the Butchers of Khaldgard and call it that. Because the Butchers of Khaldgard are going to be your biggest problem. Okay, have fun. And they've already been regenerating a lot, so I don't know where their heal cap is, but you might as well start ticking it down. Dreaded Saurian, how's it going? We already cast your games versus Tactical Lich. They were wild games, sir. But if you want to plug your channel, feel free to do that. Or don't. I don't care. I don't care about the health of the community. I only care about me. So that's fine. Don't plug your channel.
He did the bit again. He did the same bit again. He's a one-trick pony. He only has one joke, and he just uses it over and over again because he's stupid.
Yeah, it's probably true. Alright, fast forward briefly as both sides just remade their battle lines, and now it looks like they're kind of tempting each other. Chaos Warriors and Halberds braced, ready for this charge of the Butchers, but it looks like the Butchers are just going to go for it anyway to break their charge defense so that the Centaurs of Tzeentch can swarm in afterwards. Chaos Trolls charging forwards, Butchers trying back out, and we need a Final Transmutation! Get it out there! I know you only cast one. I know you only cast one. I've been watching this whole time. So both of our Armored Chaos Trolls are regenerating up, while the Groghooves of Wolf Run were regenerating. Now they're at max health for their model count, but they can keep regenerating when they take some damage. Butchers are also regenerating, so both sides getting a bit of regen. There's a Final Trans. You didn't cast it on the ground, did you? You attached it to the Butchers of Khaldgard. You better have. That's a pretty good cast. Got a little bit of poke onto some other units. There we go. It's traveling with the Butchers, so that's good. Because if you put it on just the ground, the Butchers can walk out of it, and then that's going to be a waste of your time. So, good Final Trans cast. Like it a lot. Getting a ton of damage out. The Beastmen are on a bit of the back foot. But a lot of damage on the Armored Chaos Trolls, so it was not all for nothing. He has the Winds of Magic. Now he's just desperately waiting for that cooldown to come back, which is why I was wondering if he should have started spamming it a bit earlier. Because with the Winds of Magic generation, I think he can do another overcasted Final Trans with the amount you have. Yeah, so he has a third one. He's just waiting on the cooldown. Nobody aside from Legend has showed off their feet as much as you. You're the most precious to us. Thanks, Death Rabbit. You're always consistent. I cast your game just as just have to upload. Yeah, oh, okay, you claimed mine? How'd you like that Scarbrand in game 2? I took Scarbrand just for you, buddy. Definitely not because I thought it was a good idea. I took it just for you. Alright, the Beastmen are still cycle charging and doing what they can. And the Butchers of Calvengard not having their heal cap visible yet is very concerning to me. And I know it's a bit slower, but the Beastmen are doing the right thing here. They're like charging into this blob, and whenever they knock something out like this Marauder or this Marauder, they take the time to go chase it down rather than just let it rally and flank them. Because their only advantage in this current setup is mobility, so they're really trying to, if you leave the blob, because we routed you or otherwise, you're dead. That's what they're doing. Chaos is trying to hold. Armored Chaos Trolls, though, going to tear out away from Butcher's Calvengard here, and this is a crucial fight. We need that third final transmutation, and we need it right now. Otherwise, you will lose this game. There go the Trolls. There go one of the Halberds. We're down to just a Marauder and a Halberd still in the fight. And we have dogs? Chaos Warhounds in the distance? Oh, shit! What up, dude? I don't think they're forgotten. I think they're just waiting for, like, a key moment, though that moment might have already come and gone. As they're still hiding in those trees. This guy's sitting here just waiting for another final transmutation, though it doesn't even matter. The Butcher's Calvengard. Where is their healing cap? Everything is routed now for the Warriors of Chaos. These dogs still have not moved, and the final transmutation never came. And I have to be critical. You should have cast your second one a lot sooner so that it'd be off cooldown for times like this, because now the game is over and you're still sitting on that third final trans. Thanks, Dreaded Saurian. There it is. And it's a good cast. It's a good cast. It's just I would have, you know, we wanted it when you still had units on the field. The dogs came out of the woods. Now that they are needed, they attack the Grog as the Wolves run, get some decent damage on the charge. There's a big final transmutation, but all of a sudden the Beastmen are taking the lead in the game, and I definitely agree. As the Chaos Sorcerer is desperately trying to save these Chaos Trolls, just get somebody back on the map to help them out. As right now Chaos has everything routing besides their Lord. He's the only thing left on the map. Butcher's Calvengard healing cap finally appeared, but it's so far away. And this poor little Chaos Sorcerer is stuck fighting. As the Trolls turn away from the white line, deciding we don't want to rout just yet, we want to stick around. But Chaos will surrender. Persian takes the series. 2-1. For Pegaz, his final Transcaster got 1800 value. His Lord and his Rot Knights didn't get a lot done. His Halberds did fine. His Dogs did fine. Marauders did fine. For Persian Warrior, Minotaurs did okay. Centaurs of Tzeentch, really good value besides one of them. Centaurs of Throwing Axes also did fantastically, so it was the Centaur show. Butcher's Healing for real, on God, no cap. It's true, no cap. You're right. Butchers with 1600 value, but also just tanked a lot of damage for everybody. And their terror routes were brutal. Brutal stuff. It's Persian Warrior coming out with the dub there. We'll cast Romulan Dogs games. I know he's foaming at the mouth. We'll cast them. I just need a bit of a palate cleanser before we get into this sweaty meta shitfest. Because how dare you? How dare you enter a tournament I specifically say is try hard and sweaty, and then you try hard and sweat. That's fucked up. You can't do that. Romulan Dog starting us off with more Beastmen! Oh my god! Jokes aside, Beastmen are meta, and I do see a lot of them, but they at least aren't, like, toxically strong. They're just strong, but not, like, you know, I'd rather see them over, like, Grand Cathay. Consultant. How did you guys get, like, one of the biggest maps in the game? Oh, if any of you care, anybody who's here, the Warpstone Cup is currently being played on our bot, on our Discord. We have a Find Matches bot. So if you're tired of quick battles or ranked matchmaking or whatever you want to call it, where people are kind of degenerates sometimes it's fine. But sometimes people are degenerates or like forest camp or corner camp or stuff. We do have a bot on our Discord that can match you with people. And we have basic rules, which a lot of people like to meme on us for having rules where it's like, oh, it's shitty. You don't have to play, but like, if you want to play this game, but you're like, man, I wish I could just handshake with somebody to not be a total ass about this, that's what the rules are for. It's just like no corner camping, no forest camping. You have to be attacking at all times in some form. And like, that's the biggest one that gets people. But attacking is like, if you have one cannon firing at someone, that's attacking. You're good. The rest of your army can AFK. It's like, the attacking rule is just, bro, play the fucking game. Like, don't just run away from me and draw this shit out. Right. So that's all it's for. Anyway, that's on our Discord if you want to hop in. It's in the Find Matches tab. You just type in !game and the bot matches you up with somebody. This whole tournament's being played on that bot. So when the players I assign to each other fight, they'll go to the bot, and the bot will generate 3 maps for them in a best of 3. So, yeah. Tracks your score, builds a leaderboard for us. It's all good stuff. The boy yes coast. Catching up with chat. We also have a new player area in our Discord that's you can just play games with other new players and not deal with sweaty tryhards. Alright. Battle lines are mostly set up and my self-promotion has been accomplished. What is that? Preparation of Wild with Bray Scream? You brought Bray Scream? No, that's Viletide, isn't it? Huh. Suppose we should actually talk about these armies. Bretonnia versus the Beastmen. Bretonnia brought 2 Knights of the Realm, 2 Grail Knights. They have the Fey Enchantress for some healing. In Game 2, she was taken mostly for her Mortis Engine. Nowadays, she's just a healing caster. Her Mortis Engine is very negligible, and she herself is so squishy, even in melee with basic spears, that, like, to put her in the situation to be a Mortis Engine, which is just to drain everybody down, she's going to take so much damage it's probably not worth your time. So, Fey Enchantress, just a cheap healing caster. Regrowth and Earthblood for the Knights. We have a bunch of Archers, and then a Spear Box, mix of Halberds and Spearmen at Arms. Grail Relic to keep them in the fight. For the Beastmen, who are playing the long con right now, getting a full surround, we have Centaurs and Dogs in the trees all around this formation. A bunch of Spearmen on the front line, Blood Brute Behemoth, Gorgon for some anti-large, armor piercing, all that stuff, but also Terror, and also heals himself. Minotaurs with great weapons, and then we do have a Devolve Blob Punishment caster, Viletide, do a little bit of damage to the front line, and then wait, it's Traderkin, sorry. We do also have Devolve, which is interesting. Another Viletide out, takes about half HP off these Peasant Bowmen. Do you have any tips for building armies in multiplayer battles? Sorry. The battle's going on, and for that specific pitch, I would need to go somewhere. So on my channel, there's a playlist that's called For New Players. Playlists. Here, come with me. You can go to my channel, Playlists for New Players. If you hit that, there's a whole thing. Skip to the later ones. The later ones are most up to date. And I do have a Warhammer 3 build guide for land battles, and then 5 tips to get more wins. Those 2 are the most relevant. You should watch those. Just watch those 2. I explain everything. So, yes. Do those. Anyway, back to the game. Okay. Knights of the Realm trying to find a fight with Centaurs of Tzeentch and the Bloodbird Behemoth. And the Grail Knights will follow up. So it looks like the Knights of the Realm are trying to bait the Centaurs into getting their amazing charge onto them. And then the Grail Knights can countercharge and get a bunch of damage out. We'll see how much that really matters. Ogre Spearman Herds kind of feeding into the Bretonnian box slowly, but most of the fighting is happening on these flanks. The Centaurs keep trying to get good engagements. The Bloodbird Behemoth is just going nuts into Knights of the Realm, but he's going to want to be careful as Grail Knights are coming in here too. Do we have a punishment? Yes. Minos are coming downhill out of the trees to attack the Knights, who have now surrounded the Bloodbird Behemoth. And that's going to be a lot of damage. Is that a Traderkin? Yes, an Overcast Traderkin on all 3 Knights as they get charged in the back, as they fight the Bloodbird Behemoth. That's a lot of damage, and Earthblood tries to heal them up through it, but already one Knight of the Realm is Terror Routed and routing. Another Knight of the Realm is Terror Routed, and the Grail Knights have also taken decent damage, if you again consider that they got healed during this. Centaurs of Tzeentch join the fight, and all of a sudden the Grail Knights are down to half HP. This is a brutal loss for Bretonnia, as the Beastmen ambushes appear to be going very, very well. Grail Knights then get surrounded and circle beaten by the Centaurs. More Centaurs piling in, and the Beastmen had more patience than the Bretonnians, winning out on these cav engagements. As both the Grail Knights take a lot. Beautiful Chalice of Potions from the Fey Enchantress, but it's too little. It is too late. So that Grail Knight is about entirely deleted. This one is very close, and more Beastmen are piling in. The Grail Knights try and break out at the last second, but they get headbutted by the incoming Minotaurs. And that is going to be a bad time to be a Bretonnian Knight. Is that another Traderkin? That's another Traderkin. That's off cooldown already? That's insane. Does a lot of damage to the Knights. It will do very, very little to the Fey Enchantress. She does have 60% spell resist and 15% ward save, so she's just specifically kitted against that. But man, the Bretonnian Knights are in serious trouble. The only thing that has any health left to it at all is that one Knight of the Realm. Now the Fey Enchantress is surrounded and caught out. Her Peasant box is holding, but it's just so far from where the action is actually occurring. It doesn't seem to matter too much. Rambo? Yeah, we have banned land ships. We banned Thunderbarge from our ladder, and steam tanks are currently limited to 1. Yes, so that is, you know, it's what we do on our Discord. Again, if you just like ranked matchmaking, go for that. But if you're sick of dealing with some bullshit from there, our Discord's probably a better place because we just have, like I said, some community handshake rules of like, don't do this, this, and this. Fey Enchantress, Terror routes away. Hasn't actually routed yet, but the Bretonnians, I don't know. It feels like the life is already out of them. Just so much stuff shattered or dead. We have some Peasant Bowmen are trying to rally. Looks like Romulan Dog is not going to let the Fey Enchantress try and heal anywhere. He maybe should have peeled off and started attacking archers at this point, but he really wants the Fey Enchantress dead. What about no-name players? You might want to dip. I don't know. That one might just be a language difference thing, in which case, it could be fun. Archer's still firing, doing their best, but Ramen Dog's just setting up another surround. I think, like, I get it's an important tournament and he doesn't want to throw away a game, but, like, I think you're so far ahead at this point, you need to just throw your guys at them and win. But I can appreciate being super cautious. Another Trader King on the Fey Enchantress, but as we said before, she takes, like, literally no damage from this stuff. Just due to her insane amount of resistance to this specific type of attack. In comes the Gorgon. That charge did more damage than the Trader King ever will. Second hit should end this game. There it is. She'll rout. He even gets another hit. If he can kill her entirely, then that might just army loss this. This game's over regardless. 16 HP. She's looking to slink back to the elven forests from when she came. That's about that. I'm going to fast forward at this point. There's literally no hope for Bretonnia to win this. So I'll just spare us the moment here. Dreaded Saurian, it's true. I am gross. I'm a gross, bad, toxic player. For Romulan Dog, his caster and then the Gorgon both did fantastically. Centaurs of Tzeentch and the Minotaurs also got pretty good value, and the Young Spearman just literally did nothing and died slowly to Bretonnia while the real game was going on. For the Bretonnians of Rogue Consultant, Knights of the Realm got decent damage value. Grail Knights got mostly destroyed. Archers did okay, especially one of them that got like 1,000 value. And then the Spears held, but just the entire game took place outside of the box, so they didn't get to do very much. Yeah. How does that work again? There we go. Back to the blocker screens. You can't see if there are 2 or 3 more games here. Alright, guys. We'll do it. The elephant in the room. The Empire. Our first Empire game of the stream. Probably the best faction in the game right now. Them or Kislev. Both very, very strong. Tequila Sunset, it's true. I'm a toxic bad person. But I brought the Arwar Doom Wheel in finals. So I feel like that gets me out of a tough spot. Alright, we have a Master Engineer on his steam tank for the Empire. A bunch of swordsmen and spearmen in the front line. We do have 2 Hochland Long Rifles. Demigod Knights with halberds, then a bunch of Empire Knights. And a Jade Wizard. Regrowth and Earthblood. Traderkin at the end was mainly for the slow. Didn't want the Fae running away. Fair. On the other side, we have a Net of Amnatok and Shem's Burning Gaze caster, a Princess up on her mount, a Noble and the Fireborn in the very far back, trying to stay away out of Empire artillery range while they figure out what's going on. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, Towns of Torquelada, and then a bunch of spears and white lines with triple Shadow Warriors for some kiting. The bolt throwers will do decent damage to the steam tanks, since the steam tank's missile block, whatever, doesn't count versus artillery. So the Eagle Claw bolt throwers are not mitigated at all. Unfortunately, they are aiming at the Hawkland long rifles, which, now that I say that out loud, does kind of make sense, but I think you need to just let the Shadow Warriors deal with it. Bolt throwers are really bad at taking out long rifles. Case in point, Jezzails. I've had Jezzails in my anti-high elf builds for years, and bolt throwers have never stopped me from doing that. So, a bolt thrower just needs to throw itself on single shot and fire at the Master Engineer. Let the Shadow Warriors peel for you. That's gotta just be their job. Never enough duels. Wood Elf Kite is doing a good amount of damage here to the Empire, slowly but surely, but the Hawkland long rifles are getting in range of the Eagle Bolt Thrower. And the Eagle Bolt Thrower is still firing at the Hawkland long rifles, just doing pitiful damage. It really, I personally don't think this is a matter of opinion. I think it is a fact. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower needs to be on single shot, and it needs to be on the steam tank. I don't think there is actually another viable way of doing this. As the Hawkland long rifles finally get into range, they're just going to start destroying it. The Wood Elves. The High Elves do need to get their infantry involved. They actually have better infantry than the Empire on this map. The Empire outnumbers them, but, like, Spearmen and the White Lions of Krace are better than these guys. They got to run out there and start the melee fight because they'll actually win it. The Empire's strength is in their cavalry and their weapons teams in this specific build. Whereas the High Elves, they have the Bolt Thrower, they have the Shadow Warriors, but they got to buy space for them. They can't let the Hawk and long Rifles just walk up and delete these fools. Which I'm surprised the Hawk and long Rifles backed off. I feel like they could have finished the Bolt Thrower. But I guess it doesn't really matter. The Bolt Thrower is still just doing literally nothing to them. Because it's hard to see in the desert, but it's using its scatter shot, which is also terrible. The Bolt Thrower single shot is, like, in 85% of situations better. The only time the scatter is better is against, like, super heavily armored infantry that are close formation. Some Martian. You're thinking of pulling your retirement? Yeah, game's pretty fun right now. People are getting tired of the OP stuff, but CA keeps adding more and more OP stuff, which after a while, like, real talk, if everything's OP, then nothing's actually OP. So I think we're just waiting on every roster to get the treatment, rather than actually waiting for anything to get nerfed. Some stuff still gets nerfed, though. Even in a hotfix, they nerfed the Thunder Barge quite a bit. Enough of that, though. Fireborn are taking a lot of damage from Hawkland long rifles as they try to advance. It looks like the Princess is getting some decent damage in onto netted Empire Knights, who are also shot by Shadow Warriors all over the place. But the Empire Knights, other Empire Knights, finally break into the backline and finally start shutting down some of these Elven archers that have caused them so much grief. The Bolt Throwers are still firing away at the Hawkland long rifles, slowly getting some stuff done, but it's really not that much as the Fireborn get deleted before they ever get to see combat anywhere. High Elves killing off some Empire Cav in the back line. We still have the Princess out here doing some decent damage too, but the Empire Spearmen starting to close in on these Rangers. In comes the Rain of Arrows. Hail of Arrows? What is this thing called? Volley of High Arrows. But everyone's ignoring the Master Engineer. I guess they're worried about the healing it could receive, but like the Hawk and Long Rifles are going nowhere. We have 27 out of 32 models and 30 out of 32 models, so despite their HP differences and stuff, these guys are actually just chilling. They're completely fine with what's happening. Shadow Warriors trying to defend the Bolt Throwers, who are surrounded by Knights, but for now just remaining on their posts, firing back. The Princess does go back here. Start killing these guys off. Shem's Burning Gaze takes out some of them. They get these guys to rout, but oh no, this is a disaster. Demigod Knights with halberds get a full surround onto the Princess. She is dead. She is dead as hell. No one gets out of that as her health just disintegrates in front of her. And the Halves are about to lose their Lord. Now, thankfully for them, their caster is actually a hero, so it's not like they're losing their Lord and caster. But still, you never want to lose your Lord. Oh, she is dead, my friends. Dead, dead, dead. When I stop playing those like 10 land battle maps, quick battles, I hope that's not the case anymore. Oh, that is not the case. No, there's more. What is that? Oh, the pigeon amulet thing. I just saw the shadows, like, what the fuck is happening? Okay, I got confused. The Princess is shattered, so she's not coming back at least, even if she doesn't die. Steam tanks rolling through some of the Shadow Warriors and stuff. I didn't hate this build, honestly, from the High Elves. I thought it was pretty creative. I thought it was pretty good. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower needed different target prioritization. And then Shadow Warriors did okay. The rest of the build did okay. The thing is like, when you have a range advantage, not ranged advantage, range advantage, you can shoot further than they can. You need to push your front line till the front line fight happens outside of the enemy's range, right? Where if the enemy can only shoot this far and your artillery piece is here, it's out of range. The front line fight needs to happen here. Because if the front line fight happens here where it did, well then those Hawk and the Long Rifles can get into range. Now the Eagle Bolt Thrower doesn't have the range advantage anymore. It's just going to get counter shot. Now a problem with that for the High Elves was they had the Fireborn and nothing else, and the Empire had more cavalry. So if you create space between your front line and the back line, that leaves room for the enemy cavalry to go over here, which is a problem, I admit. I'd probably cut the Fireborn and cut the Noble, as I don't feel like the Noble's doing very much, and get a second caster who has Plague of Rust, and then maybe get some Silver Helms or Lyran Reavers. But you just want the Silver Helms and Lyran Reavers to stop the Empire Cav and hold them in place, and then your Shadow Warriors pair up with Plague of Rust so that they can hit the Empire Cav, because they don't have armor-piercing missiles. So you just need the Plague of Rust to make the Empire Knights a little more vulnerable. And that could be a way to keep the Eagle Bolt Thrower online. But this matchup does feel rough. Like, it's... I'm playing devil's advocate a bit, but it's like, the Empire is... I would vote the most broken shit in the game, but like, Kislev is maybe, or a close second or something. So it's like, I don't know. The easiest way to deal with Empire is to ban their ass. But... just saying. If you do end up in this matchup in like quick battle or something, could be worth knowing. Alright, at this point it's just a Noble and a Mage of Life, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the fast forward button as Halberds find their mark. And that is the end of that. Nice win, Rogue. He says his Romulan dog wins. But, like, everybody's... Okay, this is in bad faith. This is a joke. Don't lose your mind. It's just a joke. Everybody's complaining about the Steam Tank Lord, but, I mean, the Demigryph Knights with Halberds got 100... almost 200 more value, so who's really the problem here? Nerf Demigryph Knights with Halberds. Come on, guys. Leave Steam Tanks alone. Hawk the Long Rifles, Steam Tank and Demigryphs did pretty good. Everything else just held. For Rogue Consultant, his Lord didn't do that much, unfortunately. Fireborn also died horrendously. Shadow Warriors did okay. Bolt Thrower got okay value. Not bad. And that's about that. Wrong player? Yeah, you better feel bad. Nice 2-0 by the dog of the Romulans. Now I scan for something that isn't Beastmen and Empire. Lizardmen and Beastmen. Warriors of Chaos and High Elves. This is kind of funny. Beastmen, Lizardmen, Dark Elves. Wood Elves, Beastmen. Man, a lot of Beastmen in this tournament. Now I'm just curious. I'm just stuck in a rabbit hole of silliness. What the fuck? We're casting that series. That series is silly. Oh, that's another good one. Okay, I found two good ones, but there was one up here I wanted to see. What was it? Because I have a limited amount of time for streaming, so I'll just cast some stuff. But all right, the Phoenix King versus Mr. Chalk. Let's go. I'll cast these three series I've just queued up, and then if I have any extra time after that, we'll keep going. Otherwise, I do have a set endpoint I need to go today. Phoenix King versus Mr. Chuck. Tzeentch, start a Tzeentch Mirror, which, like, out of the Chaos Gods to fight themselves, I think Khorne and Tzeentch are the two that make the most sense, because I could see Tzeentch doing it for, like, betrayal, backstab reasons, or their literal god tricked them into fighting each other, and, like, in one army's eyes, they're fighting greenskins, in the other army's eyes, they're fighting, like, Skaven, but they're actually fighting each other, and Tzeentch is just cackling because he's a dick. But that or Khorne, because Khorne's just crazy. Thanks, Romulan dog. You did good. You did good, kid. For the forces of the Phoenix King, we have 3 Zongors, 2 Marauders of Tzeentch on the front line, and then 2 Centaurs of Tzeentch, 2 Chaos Knights, the Knights of Immolation, Chaos Lord of Tzeentch, and the Sorcerer of Metal with the Final Trans Skull of Catan combo, plus Searing Doom. On the other side, our first sighting of Kairos Fateweaver since CA took regrowth off of him. We have not seen a lot of Kairos since then, because we unbanned him. Again, it was one of those things that, like, nobody was having fun with Kairos having regrowth, so we eventually got rid of him. And then CA finally took regrowth away from him. 4 Centaurs of Tzeentch, a Soul Grinder, Blue Horror backline, including the Chromatic Abominations, and then a Marauder of Tzeentch frontline with Kairos. So this is kind of old school Tzeentch versus new school Shadows of Change Tzeentch. Kairos did bring just Blue Fire and then a whole bunch of items and abilities to help with his Winds of Magic. What is better, the old ways or the new ways? I say as the Red Army has 4 Centaurs of Tzeentch, but whatever, I don't... You know what? I don't pay attention or care about facts. I'm just here for the extremely biased commentary, as those Centaurs got deleted by a really nice Searing Doom. It was not a Skull of Catan Searing Doom. It was just a normal, nice Searing Doom. The front line is going for the Reds right now, but the flanks are both going to the Greens as Centaurs are losing to the Chaos Knights and other Centaurs. Looks like they got better charges. Plus that one, of course, got spell support. Kairos is trying to kite away from the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal a little bit. Soul Grinder is attempting to help out, but I would definitely rather be green in this situation. Because once both flanks go to shit, your Blue Horror advantage that's happening right now is going to fade away as the flanks will come in and collapse on these Blue Horrors and take them out. Then your Soul Grinder is going to get stuck in melee. He does okay there, but you don't take him for melee. You take him for, you know, the crazy ammunition. But as long as you keep someone on him, he can't really use it. So things are about to go really bad for the red side. As we do get another beautiful Searing Doom here from the green side onto some Blue Horrors. We're really clustered up, took a ton of damage, and then a big cav charge in. Is it enough to get Demonic Instability churning? It does for now. Do they rally? It does not look like they will. The Centaurs are routing off on the far side. Bounce power shifting pretty heavily against the red team, and I would agree. Kairos is trying to provide value, but he is not the Kairos you remember. He's annoying and whatever, but now he's more supportive than a solo carry. And you can see that coming to fruition. Everything falls apart for the red team. They still have some strength on the front line here and there, but their back line has fallen apart. Their Soul Grinder's down to half HP and almost crumbling away. Their flanks are entirely destroyed. And that'll be a pretty quick win for the Phoenix King Tzeentch, I have to imagine. Still no Skull of Catan used. Saving it for a rainy day. Though if he cast it on Kairos right now, he'd end the game. You forgot the Great Horned Rat? He's not a Chaos God. He's his own thing. He's better than a Chaos God. Kairos doesn't have regrowth? Yeah. CA finally took that away from him. Is this real time or replay? Replays. Stage 1, we're trying to be... Stage 1 of the big tournament, we're trying to be as friendly to people with busy schedules as school lets out, people have finals and summer vacations and stuff. We tried to have stage 1 be schedule 1 best of 3 a week, and then any streams we'll do will be like replay streams, right? Stage 2 will be much shorter. You'll have 2 weeks to play as many games as you can against a set group that we put you with. But stage 1 is to like let people have a shot, but honestly, like the reality of it, not gonna go for correctness to try and save everybody's feeling. The reality of it is the players that are probably going to win this tournament are the players that play the most. Like, that's just real talk, right? So, stage 2 is probably going to have a lot more sweaty tryhards, myself included. I'm a fucking sweaty tryhard. I stream on YouTube about this game. I am very tryhard, okay? Right? So, stage 2 is going to have a lot more people like me, who are home all day, play video games all day, because we're fucking losers. So then stage 2 is like, all right, we've assessed that you guys are good. Play a whole bunch in a row. But for stage 1, it is much more casual. It helps people schedule in their busy lives a lot. And the tournament gets a little more fastidious and grindy as it goes on. So, like, you know, if you get into finals, because that's kind of the thing is, like, I also need to... Creative Assembly is going to help me with streaming the finals. And when we get there, I need people who are going to show up, which is why stage 2 is favoring people who have more time to play, partially because they'll just be better at the game, but also partially because of scheduling reasons. Because if someone who's like, I can play every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for 30 minutes before Mom tells me to go to bed. If they get to finals, that's going to be really fucking hard for me to schedule with CA, where I'm like, well, we have one guy who could play for 30 minutes on a Tuesday night. And CA is like, we wanted the finals to be 10 a.m. on a Saturday. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. The guy who got to finals isn't here. So, yeah. We need people who are going to be more flexible with their schedules in the hyper late part of the tournament. As for the battle, the Phoenix King won a lot of different areas of the battlefield, so we're not really looking for anything that has, like, crazy amounts of value. His Cav and his Caster did very, very well. For Mr. Chalk, we did see a bit of why this style of Tzeentch hasn't been popular for a while. Blue Fire took several nerfs. Kairos took nerfs and lost regrowth. Soulgrinder is still very strong. He adapted in some Centaurs, which are still good, but it's just not the same. It's not the same pressure you can have with some of the new stuff that Tzeentch has gotten. What's the stage 2 format? Stage 2 is you are placed in a group with everybody else who made it to stage 2 from your time zone, and then you play everybody in their round robin as you're able, and the people with the most wins in your group go on to stage 3. But it's not like one best of 3 a week. That one's like, you have 2 weeks, people are all in your time zone. That should be helpful, but you do need to be able to, like, be the best in your group in that one. And wins matter, not just like this stage. All that matters is you win the best of 3, but in that one, it's better to go 1 and 2 than to lose 0-2 because you still get a win. But enough about that. Enough about that. We have a whole questions section on our Discord for people who have questions about the Warpstone Cup. I should keep casting video games, I suppose. The Phoenix King, very good high elf player. Looks like he wants to wrap this series up 2-0 after a Tzeentch mirror. He does have a win under his belt. He pulls out his beloved high elves versus Mr. Chalk's Warriors of Chaos. And he does, this is Phoenix King's specific flavor. He really likes the Prince. I don't know if he thinks it's the best Lord or if he thinks he's just fine, but he does take the Prince quite a lot. He has some good combos with him and stuff. Nardu, can you be in the finals? Oh yeah, dude. 15 minutes on Monday, that's easy. General tips for Chaos Dwarves. We have a list of coaches on our Discord that could help you with that. I would probably go with Hobgoblin Labor, Goblin Labor and Chaos Dwarf mixed front line, and then focus on a lot of the weapons teams. But it's mostly their single entities are really strong. Any of the bull casters are really strong. Yeah, do that. I would ignore most of their war machines, because their war machines are just not really good right now. The Iron Demon is good, but I'm talking about like the Dreadquake Mortar, the Magma Cannon, the Deathshriek Rocket Launcher. They're just kind of not favored. All right, we have the Prince with all of his various buffs. You can get some pretty scary melee stuff going on for that Dragon Prince up there. Then we have a Mage of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood. Rahagra's Pride, Dragon Princes moving up with a whole bunch of Lothern Sea Guard. And then we have Chaos Knights of Tzeentch on the other side. Marauder front line with more Chaos Knights, Chaos Trolls, a Hell Cannon, which is currently getting shot at by archers, and more Chaos Knights back there. Archaon the Everchosen, Lord and Caster for the Warriors of Chaos with Spirit Leech and Burning Hand. That's good stuff. But again, we can see what I was talking about in that previous game, where the Chaos Warriors didn't push up their front line fast enough, and now the archers are in range of the Hell Cannons. The range disparity doesn't matter, as now it's just raw DPS check, and artillery will always lose to infantry in DPS checks because they're usually paying for higher range. Good breath attack and rear charge combo from the Lord. Does terror out off some trolls, almost terror outs off marauders as well. And the High Elves have invested super heavily in this Lothern Sea Guard front line, so their front line actually sucks. It sucks really bad, because they're all hybrid. You wouldn't want Lothern Sea Guard beating marauders in melee. That'd be a little crazy. Prince has a lot of his buffs popped, almost 1k weapon strength and 92 melee attack. In the distance, Dragon Princes are trying to fight Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, but one of the War Lions is already gone. The Rahagra's Pride is also taking a lot of damage, so the High Elf's taking a lot of attrition so far, and the balance power is actually starting to favor Chaos a little bit. More Dragon Princes getting a regrowth, trying to peel and keep this fight just between Archaon and the Prince. Prince has some of his buffs still popped, though they are fading. Archaon's just popped his other ones. Armor of Morcar is now the only one still lasting, as looks like Slayer of Kings already faded away. Down to half HP for Archaon and falling, as the Prince thinks about diving onto a different target. I don't know if that was intentional or sometimes shit just happens. Rahagra's probably going to dive in here. I wonder if they still have their Roar, because if they could Roar about now, they might be able to get rid of some of these Marauders. Dragon Princes in the distance do finish off the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Kill those guys. And the Hell Cannon somehow did manage to rally. Chaos looks like they pushed out far enough to get the Lothern Seaguard and kill them before we lost the Hell Cannon. High Elves still down on bounce power a little bit. They've lost about half their army, while Chaos is not. Chaos has lost only 200 out of 800 models. But the High Elves do have significant leads in HP and in their single entities. Nice breath attack angle from the High Elves. Only does a little bit of damage, but, you know, a little bit of damage is better than none. The last healthy Lothern Seaguard is firing into the blob fight as Dragon Princes try and hold. It looks like they're going to die. Rahalgra's Pride die and get pushed away. Lothern Seaguard get pushed away. And things are getting spooky here for the High Elves. Still have one Chaos Warrior of Tzeentch with Halberd sitting back defending the Hell Cannon, but Lothern Seaguard catch up to it. And I wonder how much HP the actual Hell Cannon model has left before it dies and leaves behind just a half-assed Chaos Dwarf crew. We will see. Archaon's out a bit alone. These Chaos Knights are going to get charged by Dragon Princes yet again. Archaon is here to help, however. He does have Fight or Die. There he pops it, giving them impressive melee stats to get through those Dragon Princes' high melee defense. Hell Cannon is still online for now, dueling with Lothern Seaguard, who are firing back at it, desperately trying to take out that actual demonic engine and shut it down forever. Chaos Knights are going to tear out any second now and leave Archaon all by himself against this Prince, who has all of his buffs up again, back up to almost 1k weapon strength, 92 melee attack. Spirit Leech from Archaon trying to just do anything he can to get damage back onto this Prince, but he knows his life is probably about to end. Hell Cannon barely clinging to life right now. Lothern Seaguard still firing away. These brave elves not routing either. Archaon taking a lot of damage, but Slayer of Kings is out. The Armored Morcar is out. Trying to stay alive, and somehow these Chaos Knights have stayed in it up until now, but as soon as I say it, I jinx them, and they are going to run away. Oh, they wouldn't tear out, because Archaon provides AoE ITP, as he should, but the Prince is kicking his ass, and soon he'll rout the old-fashioned way. Chaos catches up to the last healthy Lothern Seaguard as the Hell Cannon successfully defends itself against the other one. And Archaon slipped away! He's still alive! Let's go! He's running. He's running for it. Archaon takes some pokes in the butt. Prince is after him. This will be a big loss, of course, if the Warriors of Chaos lose Archaon, which they soon will. It means these Chaos Trolls will lose a lot of leadership and die pretty easily. But he's doing his best. These Chaos Knights probably need to turn around and try and help Peel. I don't know where. It looks like they're chasing a shattered unit, but Archaon desperately needs them right now. Last Lothern Seaguard is getting killed off by Marauders in the distance. Archaon takes another shot to the back. He is going to rout any second now, but the War Lines of Trace are taken out. The Prince is still after Archaon. Get in there, you bastards! Save him! Save him! Get around the Prince! Don't let the Prince kill Archaon, you stupid bastards! They abandoned him again. Now the Healing Caster, the Prince, and the Dragon Princes are all that's left for the High Elves. I mean, technically there's a High Elf unit over there that's about to die, but we who are about to die salute you, so goodbye. Rip. There is a Marauder chasing that Lothern Seaguard off. Archaon is alive. That's the best I can say about it. There we go. Archaon takes a dive from the Prince, gets one Spirit Leech off, but that will be the end of him. 62 HP with the Prince right on his ass. There is no way he rallies and comes back into this game in any meaningful format as the Prince lands on him, tries to take him out. This could be a big bait. Kills Archaon, but now he is sitting in some halberds. I guess a regrowth is coming in for him now. Bounce power shifted in favor of the Warriors of Chaos, though I'm getting increasingly concerned as we see these super low leadership values. That's a full health Chaos Troll with its leadership visual bar being below half. That is rough. Dragon Prince is going to run away. Lothern Seaguard have all died. That one is still trying to rally, but there's still Marauders after it. And the Hell Cannon is out of ammo. The High Elves trying to rally around. I don't know what's technically attacking right now. The Prince dives in at last, but still the Dragon Princes need to commit to somewhere. They're just currently farting around. There. They were trying to set up a rear charge under the Chaos Trolls. Halberds are coming in. Halberds could be a bit of a problem, but these Chaos Trolls are they're gonna rout as soon as they get rear charged. Their leadership is just so bad. There they go. Halberds closing in. Another Earthblood to heal up the Dragon Princess a little bit. I don't know how much Winds of Magic this mage actually has left in her. We'll see. She has a regrowth. She might want to use it on the Dragon Princess. I don't know where the Prince's heal cap is, but he has gotten a lot of healing this game, so it's probably right around the corner. Not worth it to regrowth him again. Yeah, just use it on the Dragon Princes. All of a sudden, the High Elves way ahead on the balance of power, as the last thing that can really do anything in this matchup is this Chaos Warrior of Tzeentch with Halberds. Looks like the Princes are just going to try and... The Prince is going to try and fuck off, while the Dragon Princes go for another rear charge. But they do run into some problems, getting with some Marauders. And now they're trying to loop back in on the Chaos Trolls, though a couple of their Dragon Prince models are flirting with Marauders at the moment. Of course, there's a big spooky dragon. Another dive in from the Prince, gets rid of another Chaos Troll. The Dragon Princes do manage to break through. And again, another model is way back here. We'll see if any of the Trolls or anything decide to attack. If it doesn't look like it so far, they're just going to chase off these guys. And I will ×2 speed briefly, as we do have a single entity. And these guys are trying to chase off stuff. Save time for Winds of Magic to build up to maybe get a little bit more healing, if they have it, like Earthbloods and whatever. Charge back into these guys. And the Dragon Princes try and commit, as there comes a breath attack. And Army Losses finally takes them out. GG. $4,300 value for the Prince. Loudon Seaguard overall got wrecked. One of them did fine, but Dragon Princes both did okay. War Lions of Krace also got destroyed. For Mr. Chalk, Chaos Knights did well. Archaon did well. Hellcannon did very well. Trolls actually did pretty good. And the Marauders did fine. So it's a lot of value for Chaos, but when you're dealing with the healing faction, you kind of need to go above and beyond. So that'll be a 2-0 for the Phoenix King. And then what? 2 more best of 3s guaranteed. After that, I'll assess how much time I have, but we will see. These two look like there's some fun, though. First Kislev game of the day. ODM Green 1 versus MTK's Killvane. Kislev versus Chaos Dwarves. While Kislev are still really, really strong, I do like seeing them every once in a while. They get banned quite frequently, so I don't always get to see a lot of them. Bye, 1001 airstrikes. Okay. What do we have here? Front line of armored Kossars with great weapons, so all of them are the armor-piercing variant. Then we have 3 Streltsy, a little Grom, the Wolf Hearts, Akshina Ambusher, ROR with their net, some Kislevite warriors in the back, and we do have a Tempest caster with Blizzard, Gust of True Flight. On this side for the Chaos Dwarves, it's a front line of Goblin Laborers backed up by Infernal Ironsworn and the Blazing Beards of Bazrak. Goblin Wolf Raiders all over the place, some of them bows, some without. We do have a Metal Caster, no, a Death Caster up top, Fated Beam and Spirit Leech. It's in Espanol, so not super fluent on some of these things. Little Grom doing actually really good damage versus the Infernal Ironsworn. And the Skirmish Cav are going to have a tough time. Skirmishing versus Kislev is really brutal, because almost all their units have a ranged attack. And skirmish units don't really like fighting against standing infantry ranged units, because usually standing infantry has longer ranged and more DPS. But your Skirmish Cav is usually cheaper and has better melee stats and better speed. Speaking in super generals here. Goblin Laborers pushed off by Things in the Woods charge, plus Streltsy firing in on them. Kislevite Warriors moving around to try and keep things kosher, keep things safe. Do worry if they get charged while they aren't braced, they might take a big old spank of damage. And the Blazing Beards are under attack by the Things in the Woods, taking a lot of damage themselves, but it looks like some Infernal Ironsworn grenades are going to help them out a bit. Blizzard Overcast is trying to come in and catch them. It looks like they're trying to dodge, but they won't be able to dodge it all the way, so they will still take some serious damage. This little Grom and the Things in the Woods have done more than enough work on those Infernal Ironsworn to make it worth it. Kislev, strangely not as far ahead on the balance of power as I would have thought. Streltsy taking some damage from Spirit Leeches or Fate of Yunas. Not sure which one went their way. Just the Wolf Hearts and Little Grom. Poking at the Deathcaster. Chaos Warp frontline is in disarray. Their Infernal Ironsworn have taken a lot of damage. They only have one that I would even consider healthy. All the others are so tattered, I don't know if they matter. And these guys were trying to grenade the Things in the Woods blob. That would have done a lot of damage, but then they got distracted, so it looks like they're just going to go for the Armored Kossars instead. Kislev's whole formation is holding really, really well right now, and I think the Chaos Dwarves are in deep shit. I don't think that balance of power is correct at all. Skirmish Cab getting pushed away towards the back of the map, where they might just route themselves off. The Deathcaster is trying to rejoin the fight, and still this Infernal Ironsworn with all their grenades have not been able to really make anything of them. There's going to be a good volley. It does a decent little bit of damage to Armored Kossars through ray opens, but it's not enough. Like, it's not going to turn this game around enough. Yeah, Kislev's still just standing and firing. They don't care at all. Pack Trap going to net the Deathcaster right in front of two Streltsy and the Wolfhearts themselves. Everybody's shooting this big Chaos boy. The balance of power finally takes a leaning back to where I thought it should have been for a while now. The Deathcaster is going to rout. Looks like Little Grom will keep shooting him as he runs away too, because he can't dodge while he's routing. So he'll just take that damage, keep routing, either die or go all the way off the map with Little Grom harassing him, and then without him, the game is over. Flatter, is it too late to join? Yeah, we did have a month-long sign-up period with like a trailer and stuff, because it is just, it's hard to let people join after the first round has already started. This shit is over. Tempest Caster charges into the Wolf pack. Takes a lot of damage, but she is just trying to keep the ranged units online. She knows her health isn't nearly as valuable as these ranged units staying alive is. Army losses hits as the Snow Leopard comes out. That is GG to Kislev game 1. Really crisp play there. Really good stuff. Unlucky I was out. Maybe next time. Maybe next time, dude. Yeah. For Kislev, some of their Streltsy did fine. Little Grom got a lot of value. The Wolf Hearts got a lot of value too. I always think I'm saying that name wrong. Not because it's hard to say, but because when I look at them, I'm like, the Wolf Hearts. Wait, that's Marcus's name. It's Marcus Wolfheart. I'm thinking of something else, and then I'll hover over them, and it's like, oh, they are just the Wolf Hearts again. Got it. Finally, a Kislev win. Thanks for hosting. Hell yeah, Strat Game. Thank you for the $10 donation. Generous as always. I will take you over to the blocker screen while I pull up Game 2. Very convincing Game 1. But we'll see what's up for Game 2. I did say that there were some spicy builds in here. And you guys were like, no, shut up, human boy. You're stupid and dumb. Bet you feel pretty silly about now. Bet you feel pretty stupid about now. As we have a Soul Grinder, Svarik the Feathered Prince, double Changebringer, and the ROR Rot Night Fly things. Yeah. Yeah, bet you're feeling kinda dumb. So we have a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, Svarik the Feathered Prince with pink and blue fires, then some blue horrors, some Nurglings for the Demons of Chaos. I should say this is Demons of Chaos for Lizardmen. 2 Changebringers, the Angels of Decay, Plague, Drones, Death's Head, ROR, and then more blue horrors. The other side for the Lizardmen. 4 Skink Skirmishers, 4 Skink Cohorts with Javelins, 2 Bestilled Solar Engines, 2 Sacred Croc Scores, the Umbral Tide Salamander Hunting Pack, the Clawston Hunters, and a Slan of Death, with Aspect of the Dread Knight and Fate of Buna. He's currently falling back. The Lizards didn't bring any healing whatsoever, so all of this poke and kite of Tzeentch is gonna stick. Big overcasted pink fire also takes out his king court with javelins almost entirely. Looks like they will rally for now. They won't rout away just yet. Conrad, cool, and thanks.
Hell yeah.
Hi. Thank you for the donation. You're doing great. And I'm not great at showing the amount of appreciation that I feel in my heart of hearts. But it's there. Just because I'm kind of a monotone dickbag. The duel is on as the Soul Grinder starts to poke down the Mage of Death more and more. You can see those laser dinos we mentioned at the very start of the stream. They are strong right now, and a lot of people take them. But you don't take them for the damage. You take them for everything they provide. They provide this, like, crazy, perfect vigor aura that'll regenerate the vigor of your troops even while they're fighting. They do fire damage, so they can reduce healing if stuff's being healed. They have blinded, so they reduce your stats. But the, like, raw damage of the sunbeams is not very good. Just tuned in and you know Lizardmen will win? Well, maybe. How do you know? Svarik using the Gaze of Fate net down on the Clawstone Hunters. Just to hold them in front of the Changebringers for now. Changebringers getting some pretty solid damage out onto these guys. So far, kiting Lizardmen does seem to be working. Why is there no Wood Elves in, like, the 10 games you watch? Wood Elves or Slaanesh, either one is the worst faction in the entire game right now. Yeah, Now, that's my opinion, I will say. Some people would disagree, but I personally think Wood Elves and Slaanesh are both the very bottom. We do have some Wood Elf games if you want me to go scrounge them up. I can go find them. I saw them in my replays list, but yeah, you're not going to see a lot of them. Svark is up here trying to get Arcane Surge to work for him. And the Lizardmen are taking the worst end of this kite so far by a lot. Their infantry's taking a lot of damage. The Clawstone Hunters are almost dead. Slaan's half HP. It's brutal. Kite tries to fall back a little bit. Probably needs to fire soon. Yeah, now we have Blue Horrors moving up to fire a little bit. This will take out these skink cohorts who are already quite damaged. That was a really good solar shot, actually, on those Changebringers. I'm curious what the Lizardmen are going to try and do here. Because they're not winning the damage fight at all. The solar engines are not nearly as good as Changebringers and stuff are. Clawstone Hunters trying to chase down Svarik. Looks like they will get a little bit of damage onto him. Oops. This is an oopsie. Svarik does not need to be taking this damage whatsoever. Toad Rage comes out, plus the aspect of the Dread Knight, making them immune to terror and do magic damage. This is a big fuck-up. Svarik took so much damage he didn't have to. He lost 2,500 HP for free. Oof. That is really, really brutal. Solar Engine's still doing good damage against those Plague Drones' Death's Heads, and now the frontline fight has started in earnest. Skinks getting beat up by Nurglings and Demons of Chaos. I mean, they're just taking a lot of damage. Crocscore is also going to be taking a lot of oopsie-poopsie damage around here. We'll see how much that matters. We have some Skink Skirmishers kiting out, plenty of ammo on them, and the Salamander Hunting Packs have been unthreatened so far, so I suppose that's something. As the Changebringers continue to get poked at by the Solar Engines. And both Changebringers, 9 models out of 12, and this one has 12 out of 12, but low HP. Man, those Solar Engines are actually really giving it to him. Aspect of the Dread Knight Overcast gives everybody around here better leadership, terror, fear, and magic damage, and they just wreck that demonic frontline. Wow. Salamander Hunting Pack is continuing to try and help with the Blue Horrors and whatnot. Sacred Crocscores with their magic damage are flying to the back. Their Power Fists swinging for the fences as they try and take out more of this demonic infantry. And all of a sudden, the Demons of Chaos are behind the Bounce of Power. Fate of Buna is currently on the Plague Drones of Nurgle, trying to do good damage to them. It's over half done. So the nerfs to Fate of Buna plus their low model count and high HP pools is coming in to really showcase the Fate of Buna changes, but still, even charging the Salamander Hunting Packs, these guys took a lot of damage. Damn, dude. Soul Grinder is still trying to finish off the Slan of Death, which would be pretty huge. We have a Changebringer with a lot of ammo and a good amount of HP off in the corner. It looks like they were tired of getting shot at by the Stildons, but I mean, they have to come back eventually and participate in this game, right? Angels of Decay are just about dead as the Emerald Tide deal with them. What can the Changebringers do? Looks like they have fire at will off, so they need orders. And in comes the real problem. Skink Skirmishers for the Changebringers is a disaster. They have 10 armor, low HP, and no missile resistance. They want nothing to do with these Dart Skinks, and they have to dodge forward to start getting away from them, but that dodges into different Dart Skinks who now have magic damage due to aspect of the Dread Knight Overcast, but the Changebringers are in. They're trying to finish off the Slann. That'll maybe get rid of some of these Skinks, but he does have the Shield of the Old Ones. More leadership, more damage resistance. He's fallen back, but in come those little darts, the little pokey darts. And there goes one of the two Changebringers. Lizardmen are way ahead on the balance of power now as all of the demonic units everywhere just start falling apart. And in a game that felt like it was going okay, the demons just fucking quit. Not like green one quit or anything, but like I looked away, and then whenever I looked back, his units were like, never mind, fuck it. Just demonic instability crumbled off the map. Changebringers getting pushed away by the solar dinos and all of these darts. Svark is very low, and the Salamander Hunting Packs are even going to make his life a little miserable. And all of a sudden, it's just over. The Slann is dead, but that doesn't seem to matter as a Soul Grinder cannot kill everything left in this army. The Sacred Croc Scores alone might be a problem for it. Changebringers are gone. Svark is next, as that Solar Dino will probably turn back with its last 4 shots and shoot Svark. Lizardmen win. 04 Bark, how dare you come in here and predict correctly? Soul Grinder did okay. The Changebringers and the Death's Heads did not do very well. And then the entire front line got rolled. For Killvane, he just held on, I guess is all you say about that. The Solar Dinos did fine. Salamander Honeyback did fine. Dart Skinks, yeah, Dart Skinks did really, really well. GG's, GG's. On to game 3. And this is just a weird one. I don't fully understand. So the green one just like takes the same build again, but this time on Tzeentch. Oh no! Okay. It was a bug. I thought he took Svark again, but it was that bug where like Svark, if you click on a replay that has him and you click on a different replay, his face still shows up as Lord. So I thought he took Svark again as Tzeentch. I was like, okay, green one. Changebringer seems like a bait unit. I also feel that way, but a lot of good players disagree with me. Alright, for Tzeentch, as the green one, off of Demons of Chaos and onto Tzeentch, so he just took a lot of the same units. He has 2 Changebringers, Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, Chaos Lord of Tzeentch, front line of Marauders. We do have the Knights of Immolation up in the sky, some Marauder Spears and Blue Horrors in the back, and we do have a Final Visitation Skull of Catan Joint Caster. On the other side, for the Dark Elves, we have the Ravens Heralds, some Harpies, Double Scourge Runners, fucking Crone Hellebron for some reason, where she brought her spell resistance and then her Mortis engine if you're losing in melee combat. That's all she brought, which, I'm just going to say it, I think that's terrible. I think she is hot garbage. We have more Harpies in the distance than Blacker Corsair Handbows and Dread Spears. This is too many flying units, by the way, if you care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait. 4 Harpies, Hellebron, this lady, and the Ravens Heralds. That's 7. I think you're limited to 6 flying units. Like, even in quick battle, I think you're limited to 6. So, whoopsie. But this battle happened in the past, and nobody apparently raised this issue, so it's too late to change it now. Dark Elves trying to kite with their Scourge Runners a little bit. And in comes a Spirit Leech from the Deathcaster of the Dark Elves. Fate of Being and Spirit Leech for her. Gas Lord of Tzeentch takes a little fight. Now he's going to back off and try and regenerate his barriers. And a lot of Harpies flying in. I swear there was something flanking over here, but I guess not. Hellebron must have come back to the fold. Knights of Immolation take a fight against the Harpies. They aren't afraid of this at all. They haven't even lost barriers yet, and they're killing the Harpies. Yes, I agree that the Harpies are going to try and zone the Changebringers. I honestly wouldn't hate for the Harpies to just suicide dive the Changebringers. Because if they go 1 by 1 like this, the Knights of Immolation are going to pick them off. Really good volley from the Ravens Heralds and the Scourge on Chariots. Meanwhile, the Changebringers are also shooting at you. So it's not exactly for free. Aspect of the Dread Knight is overcast over here to give these guys magic damage to deal with the Tzeentchians. And Scourger on Chariots should have a field day shooting at the Changebringers, but it looks like green ones are pretty good about dodging back whenever they start to fire, so a lot of those bolts will miss. And that was a really good counter volley from the Changebringers onto the Scourge Runner Chariots. The Ravens Heralds are also in trouble, so things are going very, very poorly for the Dark Elves right now. They're losing a lot of value. As I think they need to get into the melee more. You brought a whole bunch of melee flyers. Get them in there. They need to start participating. And the Blacker Corsair Hambos are just kind of chilling over here too. You're taking like a kite game versus double Changebringer and Soul Grinder, and you're not winning it. So like, get into melee. Knights of Immolation round off a Harpy, and they get rear charged by another one, but even then, they should honestly win just because of how much better the Harpies they are in melee. Overcast and Found Transmutation with the Skull of Catan buff and Changebringers firing in. Hellebron might just die during this spell duration. 5 seconds left on it. She stopped taking damage for a little bit because the Changebringers, are busy not shooting at her. She did take a lot. She does route off for a second. Harpies too cowardly to stay in this fight for now. They are still trying to get the Changebringers. Big point-blank volley might take those ones out as the Knight of Immolations have returned, but this is much more of what I wanted to see from the Harpies earlier on. The Knights of Immolation can only be in one fight at a time, so as long as your Harpies just swarm these Changebringers, you can get some decent damage down, but also keep your other stuff alive. And now the Scourge Runner Chariots and the Ravens Heralds are firing in at the same time. Harpies getting pushed away. They're getting decent damage down on these Changebringers. Yeah. Damn, they just needed to charge earlier. So that was some decent damage, but these Harpies are already too damaged to like get in there and really get some shit done. Changebringers chased them off with a whole bunch of fire. What is left for the Dark Elves? Hellebron is about toast. Deathcaster is about toast. Soul Grinder has a couple shots left to probably finish off the Deathcaster, and then Hellebron are most likely their targets. Dark Elves still have a lot of infantry, and that is their advantage over Tzeentch here. It is now getting into the fight. You can see it's doing pretty well wherever it goes. We have, like, Marauders routing off. Some Blue Horrors are already dead, but I think it's just too little too late. Changebringers are really helping delete out some of these units. The Black Corsairs have been zoned appropriately, so they can't ever get too near to the Changebringers or anything. Though these Changebringers are wandering a little danger close. If the Black Corsairs could figure their shit out enough to fire it up at these guys, that would actually be a lot of damage. Out poloed, oh. Spirit Leech onto the Chaos Lord. The Soul Grinder, I don't know what he's shooting at. Oh, okay, he's going to try and finish off Hellebron here. He's winding up a shot. I think it takes 2 shots for him to kill her at this point. Yep, 2 shots. He wants her to route so she can't dodge, but looks like she's going to stay in here. There, she's routing, and now she shatters. Soul Grinder should be able to fire once more and hit her for free now that she can't dodge. There comes the shot. Nope, finish her off, you fucking bastard. Changebringer's trying to hit the Sorceress of Death, but she dodges around nicely, though the Tzeentch shots still hit her from the Soul Grinder, going to rout her off, and that might trigger army losses when they lose their Mage and their Lord that close together. It looks like the Dark Elves will hold on for just a hot second longer. Still have Changebringers trying to get a volley off from the Ravens Heralds. He's just entirely ignoring the enemy infantry, which is fine. Changebringers do eventually crumble away in front of the Harpies, who are now fighting the Knights of Immolation, who are extremely low. The Black Corsair Hambos harassing the Changebringers away a little bit, but we still have a Soul Grinder with 3 shots left. Still have a healthy caster, very healthy Chaos Lord, and then some Marauder Spears for them to fall back on. The Soul Grinder just rakes over Black Corsair Hambos. It's tough stuff. No Badissa, no Stealer, no Soul Stealer, no Druchman. That is fair and hog. Green one takes that best of 3. I have time for one more best of 3. How long have we been going? About 3 hours? Okay. For the green one, is Metal Caster okay? His Lord really didn't do anything. Soul Grinder, 2,300 value. Changebringers, one didn't even pay for itself. The other one did. And then Blue Horse did okay. Knights of Immolation did fine. For Kilvane, Hellebron was just objectively not the right choice. I don't know if he was memeing, if he was trying to, have a good replay for the fans. That could, people can do that. Some people just play for fun, and that's fine. But if you want my, meta opinion, if you should take Crone Hellebron, never. There's literally no situations where Hellebron is worth taking. She sucks. It's a good job, Green One. Good win. One more best of 3. Is the one that I wanted to cast, does it have Wood Elves in it? No. Where was one that had Wood Elves? I've seen Wood Elves in here. There's one. Okay. That's got some stuff. Kislev mirror. We have a Wood Elf game. I don't know. The rest of this looks fine. It's not bad, but if I only have one series left, I really did want to cast this one. I'll think on it. BRB. 1 second. I'm back. Hello. Let's do it. Back into the games. No time for anything but games. Games, games, games. So we have Nerd, not Dr. Nerd. That is a different player. Nerd versus KDW78. Nerd versus KDW78. A best of 3. Let's go. Double deuces seems like an auto select for most matches now. The deuces are good, dude. Yeah, I assume Karanak's gonna come out with the Skulls week. Whenever the Skulls week is. Skulls at the Skull Throne. Alrighty, for our first game here, KDW bring in the Dark Elves against Bretonnia. We have a Death Sorceress with Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech. We have some Harpies, Witch Elves no longer providing Rampage, a whole bunch of Dark Shards, the Siren of Red Ruin, Bloodwrack Medusa, double Blackguard of Nagaron, and a Dread Spear Box. Besides that. On the other side, we have Grail Knights, Knights of the Realm for Bretonnia. Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, the Knights Errant ROR, a Hippogriff Knight, King Lewin Leyen Kerr, a pretty meh front line of Spearmen-at-Arms and Men-at-Arms, and then we do have 3 Peasant Bowmen, Healing Caster with Regrowth, and I think I mentioned the Hippogriff Knights, but the Hippogriff Knights. There are SFO tourneys. I don't know of any. Whenever you put a mod in, a lot of people don't want to participate in tournaments, so it can be tough. Fate of Buna is out on the Royal Hippogriff Knights. Now, they do have a low model count. They have damage resistance from their Grail thingy. And Fate of Buna got nerfed, so Fate of Buna is going to be extra ineffective against Hippogriff Knights, unfortunately. But sitting in Dark Shards will do some decent damage. That'll give you. As the Medusa continues to try and poke down whatever it can. Everybody is shooting at the Hippogriff Knights that are just sitting in their range right now. Still quite tanky. And then there comes the regrowth to make sure that none of this damage really matters. Sign of Red Ruin did use its Wail of Malice on just Lewin, is unfortunately not going to do very much damage. But Lewin's not having a good time. I mean, he is sitting in Dark Shards who are just lighting his ass up. Alright, he falls back. He is out of this. Wants nothing to do with what's happening right now. Spirit Leech hits him in the back of the head as he goes. He does not have his Lion's Shield. Yeah, he doesn't have his Lion's Shield, so he doesn't have the spell resistance or anything like that. And the Royal Hippogriff Knights, even with the regrowth, are taking a lot of damage from all these Dark Shards. Sit direct fire, not lose any models. Lol. Yeah, Hippogriff Knights are still pretty wild. Hippos are trying to land on the Siren Red Ruin. She can try and fight back, and she also is going to hold these guys in place while the Dark Shards just focus fire them from all directions. Hippogriff Knights getting chewed up. Looks like they will rout, get pushed away. Dark Elves doing fine. The frontline fight doesn't really matter. The Dark Elves are way outclassing the Bretonnians in that front. It is just how much can the cavalry get done on the backside. As it looks like the cavalry keeps trying to go through the front and break them, but that's just not going to happen. Dark Elves are a little more stalwart than other factions. Lewin takes another Spirit Leech. More Dark Shard fire straight into his face. And the Medusa is firing sidelong into Knights of the Realm. I swear there was a Grail Knight. There's a full health Grail Knight in the back doing nothing. And that is costing the Dark Elves quite a bit. Royal Hippogriff Knights rally only to rout again, so one more rout and they are shattered. The Dark Shards of the Dark Elves are all completely online. The Bretonnians just seem to be a little overwhelmed. Now Grail Knights find a hole in the front line. They are going to come charging straight in, rear charging the Dark Shards, plowing through them. Insane damage on that charge. And it is what Bretonnia needs to get back in this game, as the balance of power is heavily against them. They could still have a lot with 10 out of 12 Hippogriff models. If they can get another regrowth, they'll be fine. Lewin's slowly regenerating up at his own pace. Grail Knights are in the back line. So they're not out of this, but man, Bretonnia took a lot of damage at the start. Sign Red Ruin still shooting at the Grail Knights as Dark Shards all try and turn inwards to fire at the last strong unit of Bretonnia. And Lewin gets the regrowth. Oh no! He has his own regeneration. The Hippogriffs needed that much more. He is doing great against the Supreme Sorceress of Death. This is a really good snipe attempt from Bretonnia as the Grail Knights are still in the back line trying to do whatever they can. But Dark Elf infantry are closing in from all sides as the Bretonnian peasants are gone. They've abandoned the Grail Knights at this point. But Lewin, like, I get that he was also low, but he has slow regen. The Hippogriff Knights have nothing. And they still have 10 out of 12 models. If he could have healed them, that would have been fine. Blackguard have surrounded the Damsel of Life. Dark Shards are starting to take out the Hippogriff models because they're just so low on HP. Lewin's about to heal cap, and the Grail Knights in the back here. Wait, where are the Grail Knights? Those are Knights of the Realm. More Knights of the Realm. Where's the Grail Knight? There's the Grail Knight. Could also use some healing. So I disagree. I disagree with regrowthing Lewin there, but don't know how much it would have mattered, as this is going to shit for Bretonnia pretty fast. Hippogriff Knights shatter. Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm not feeling too good. Sign of Red Ruin is still completely fine. Still have some Dark Shards. And there's 2 half-health Blackguard of Naggarond, which Lewin cannot kill all of them. Rules change to 2 Grail limits? Yeah. Dark Shards just trying to shoot Lewin whenever they can, poke him down. He's so close to his heal cap that, you know, you got attrition him at this point. Harpies have rallied to chase off some peasant bowmen. And army losses might take out Lewin and the Grail Knights. There it is. Good win for the Dark Elves over Bretonnia. None of the Bretonnian is really getting crazy value here. For KDW, his Lord and his Bloodrock Medusa both got really good value. Dark Shards paid for themselves in spades. Everything else was fine. So GG there. Game 2.
I thought you said this series had some fun builds. I thought you said it was gonna be fun. You lied. That was Bretonnia versus Dark Elves, which we've seen before. You're stupid and dumb.
Yeah, but it'd be our first greenskins of the day. And Ogre Kingdoms with a very interesting build. Scrag the Slaughterer, a hunter, and then some Mournfang Cav with lead belchers. That's pretty different. I forgot to close the door when I came back in. Oh god. Oh jeez. Hit. I'm waiting for the Wood Elf finals. We'll see when I finish this series if I have time for a couple more games. I can cast the one that had Wood Elves in it. I can. Okay. For the Greenskins versus the Ogre Kingdoms here, we have Savage Orc Biggins plus Goblins in the front line. Orc Boar Biggins with the Broken Tusk Mob, a bunch of Squig Herds on the side. We have triple Goblin Archers, River Troll, Fade Union, Spirit Leech, and then a Night Goblin Warboss with his Net and Fermented Fungi Rampage, plus his bonus versus Large. Ogre Kingdoms, we have Mournfang Cav with Great Weapons, Iron Guts, Gnoblars, Ogre Bulls, Scrag the Slaughterer, a Hunter on his Stonehorn, and then we do have 3 Lead Belchers with some Saber-Tusk Packs and Ogre Bulls to support them backline. I am extremely concerned that these 3 Lead Belchers will not be protected because there's not enough Ogres to keep them safe from all these Greenskins. We have Goblin Wolf Raider Archers on the back line, too, that can run over. But yeah, the Greenskins just need to bum rush these Lead Belchers and fuck them up. Ogre Bulls getting swept across the front line. And Savage Orc Biggins are massacring Scrag! He gets rampaged back into him! Oh, fuck! He's, like, dead! He is entirely dead! These guys are beating up on him! Beating his ass! Now, you know, the Ogres did get a really good fight on this top side. They're routing a whole bunch of stuff off, and that's going great. But, like, Scrag dying to Savage Orc Biggins a minute and a half into this game. Lead Belcher's already on the run from the Savage Orc Biggins, and there comes a Wah. That wasn't even a Wah, that was just happening. More Savage Orc Biggins with Spite of the Bad Moon with Wah trying to fight back against this Hunter. Scrag is routing. Lead Belchers under attack. I think all 3 of them. Yeah, all 3 Lead Belchers under attack and not firing right now. The southern side for the Ogre Kingdoms is going to rat shit so fast. And in comes the real disaster. Scrag, if he dies, the Ogre Kingdom's leadership will spike down and it'll get even worse. Even worse for him, man. Even worse. Ogre Bulls trying to rejoin the fight, trying to save the Lead Belchers, trying to save Scrag. But those are Savage Orc Biggins you have to charge straight into. There's just no good options. If these Orc Boar Biggins that have rallied come in and just sweep down Scrag, this game's over. In fact, this game might be over already. I don't know what they can do from this point. The Ogres just look completely fucked. Scrag might rally? Boar Boys are going to get a rear charge on these Iron Guts instead of dealing with him. But he's not like an elf or a dwarf or something with high leadership. He's still an ogre lord, so he might just keep routing. Like, his base leadership might be too low to save him here. Ooh, the River Troll Hag even overcasts the Spirit Leech just to delete him and get the leadership bonus. You know, because if someone dies, you get a bigger leadership spike than if they get routed off. Which, anybody who's watched a lot of my content is like, stop fucking saying that. But I also gotta cater to people that don't watch my content all the time and don't know all the ins and outs of multiplayer mechanics. So Lead Belchers are under attack. Everything's routing for the Ogre Kingdoms, and that is a disaster. And with the Bretonnia game not going his way, Nerd got mad and wanted to put a stamp on this series with Game 2. Routes off the River Troll Hag. I don't think that literally matters at all. We have a half-health Ogre Bull, a half-health Hunter, an almost dead Lead Belcher, and that is it for the Ogre Kingdoms. That is it. Still have a bunch of Savage Orc Biggins, still have Boar Boys, still have a Goblin Warboss, still have a River Troll Hag who's healing up. That should be army losses already. River Troll Hag is going to get in a fight with the Lead Belchers. If any of these 3 Ogre units break, the 3 on my screen right now, army losses will hit. These Gnoblars don't matter. So if that guy breaks, army losses is hitting. What did I say? What did I say? Why do you people keep doubting me? Why do you keep coming here and you're like, oh man, Human Boys cast millions of Total Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 games. I have been casting since the dawn of time itself. Millions of games. And people are still like, nah, army losses ain't gonna hit. When I tell you army losses is gonna hit, it's happening. It's a fact. It's not a prediction. It's a fact. I have been to the future and I come back and I tell myself off screen, you can't see because future myself and myself have a code hand system. If I come in with 5 fingers raised on one hand, and then a thumb and a pinky on the other, it means when that ogre bull routs, this shit is over. And then I look at him, say, thanks, G, but I don't actually say that because I would give away the game to you people, and I got to keep these secrets so that I'm still an amazing, awesome caster man that y'all don't know how it works, right? So then I know the ogre bull is going to break. I know that ahead of time. I can take that information. I can look all impressive on the internet. I can get big internet points, big ups, stocks straight to the moon. Anyway. Nice game from Nerd. Good values on his Orc Boar Biggins. Not too impressive anything else there. Savage Orc Biggins. Oh! Giga damage. Didn't see it, no army losses. For KDW, I mean, in a one-sided game, you're not really going to find anything that did too well. His Hunter on his Stonehorn did okay, but the rest was just a bit of a slappening. His Ogre Bull's actually did alright. Human boy raging for no reason. Sometimes it's just fun. You know, sometimes just for the fun. So these two do go to game 3. But who will be victorious? As I also wanted to see this. This looked a little interesting. This is between two top-tier factions. No, like, why would you pick this faction here? But these are some strange builds. And I don't mean strange as bad. I don't know. But triple Dwarven Cannon with Malachi buffing them up is quite huge. And then 2 firing rockets from Nerd could also be good. But we're on Peak Pass, which is, like, literally the biggest map in the game. But more concerningly for me about the Dwarves is it's a hill map? I don't know if the dwarves are going to be able to see. Why, can you see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? It's for the mercury poison, right? Anyway, 2 armies are advancing to fight each other. While they do so, let's go through them, huh? Triple Dwarven Cannon buffed up by Malachi. He brought his really shitty cluster grenade. It just sucks, but he has his Eyes of Grogny and Artillery Master, so that'll help his cannons get some more damage out. Dragon Slayer, some regular Slayers, then we have Quarrelers with Great Weapons. Now, the Great Weapons help them in melee, not their range. Their range is just arrows. And then Dwarf Warriors for a front line. On the other side for Grand Cathay, we have Onyx Crowman and Jade Lancers, one of each on each flank, with the Emperor's Crowman being an ROR up there. Hi, Hellion. We cast your game earlier. How you doing, man? How you doing? You brought one of our only Skaven game today? Yeah, I think that's the only Skaven game you casted today. There is one other one in my queue, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it before the stream has to end today. Anyway, we have Zhao Ming the Iron Dragon with just his breath attack. We have 3 Jade Warrior crossbows, 2 fire and rockets, and then a bunch of Jade Warriors and Peasant long spears. Dwarven Cannons trying to fire uphill into Jade Lancers. And again, the map is not going to make this easy for the Dwarves. Fire and Rocket's still walking up into position. Cannons are firing away. And axe the human counselor. Way, it's true. Way, this is probably the closest you're getting to your Plague Claw Catapult game. The dwarves are now targeting the fire rain rockets. And in normal circumstances, they would way outtrade them, but we'll see if the curve of the hill can provide any protection for the fire rain rockets, who have a much more favorable arc of fire. Cannons are still getting some hits in, and the fire rockets still aren't firing, and they might have to crest the hill to get in range, which gets rid of any advantage they would have had, and then would definitely make me say that the dwarves are going to win this artillery fight. Crowmen are closing in, but they're just going to get shot at by Quarrelers, so that doesn't matter to me at all. One of the fire and rocket models is already dead, but they're counter-firing back now. And they'll do unholy damage on the Dwarven formation that's so close that even the rockets that miss will sometimes hit Dwarves, but still, I think the fire and rockets are going to get trashed on by these Dwarven cannons. Yeah, out of the 8 models, the fire and rockets have 5 left after a couple volleys. In comes another good barrage. Still poking the dwarves down. But it's just not enough. 2 models left. 2 models left. Down to 1 model here. 1 model here. There are 2 fire and rockets out of 8 left. Never mind. 1. That is brutal stuff. And now Cathay has to advance. What are banned? Oh, banned because they're too broken? The Playclaw catapults? Yeah, dude. Yeah, that shit's unbalanced. It's too good. That's why no one take. That's why. Yeah. So the cannons have secured their ranged advantage. I am a little curious what they'll do with the rest of their time. It's not like there's a ton of great targets for them after this. We'll see. The Onyx Scrowmen, the Emperor Scrowmen specifically, trying to get their little bomb drops onto all these Quarrelers, getting some decent damage out before thinking about diving on the cannons. And now they do land on these ones with the Dragon Slayer running over to do some interference. Other Crowmen land over here. How many Dwarven cannons can they take out, or does it even matter? In comes the big breath attack from Zhao Ming. Dwarf Warriors losing pretty convincingly to Jade Warriors on the front line for now. Jade Lancers get pushed back by Slayers and whatnot. One of the cannons is entirely killed off by Scrowman. The second one goes with it. Damn, good job, Crowman. I think those cannons are just doomed. Like, they're straight up dead. The real dead. Meanwhile, Malachi is trying to fire sidelong into Zhao whenever he has the chance, though now Zhao is obstructed by all of his own Dwarf Warriors. Malachi is not Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming does not have Dwarf Warriors. If he does, that would be crazy. Another breath attack comes down. This cannon's about to shatter. One of the cannons did shatter, and that leaves us with 1 cannon in the end. Dragon Slayer instead charges out to maybe try and deal with some of these Jade Lancers, get a little bit of damage onto them, pushing through his own miners. Lemmy at him. Dwarves are up on the balance of power. I am worried, though, because Cathay's front line is way better than the front line the Dwarves brought. What is that? What's getting cast there? What's that? Oh, it's a cluster grenade. Wow. Incredible. Incredible stuff. Archers have finally gotten range to start firing at the Slayers. Zhao Ming continues to use breath attacks whenever he can onto all these miners and things. Dwarves are on the bounce power, but I'm actually getting really worried about their staying power in this game. They're not killing these Jade Warriors fast at all. Crossbows on the high ground. We have Jade Lancers in the back that can still run off anything that does manage to rout. I don't know. The 1 cannon that's still online is firing, though now we have crossbowmen in range to start poking it down. Other crossmen are focusing on some of the Slayers, which is a great target for them. No arguments from me. I don't think Cathay is feeling all terrible about how this game went so far. Jiming's trying to duel Malachi. Way better melee combatants. A lot more HP. Did not bring Final Transmutation, so he can't abuse that, though he is just spamming out breath attacks with the best of them. And that cannon got recharged by Jade Lancers, taking it down to almost dead, knocking it off its cruise already. Really helping Cathay back into this game. So good scrap so far here from Nerd. Wow! Dwarves got the short end of the stick with the terrain. Kinda. Both players had to deal with the same stuff. It's just Cathay took the hill while the Dwarves waited, and Cathay had better arcs of fire than Dwarves did. Malachi getting run down by Zhao Ming in his big boy form. Still getting some decent damage out here and there. Dragon Slayer is out and about doing his best, but the Dwarves are taking a lot of attrition damage, and the bounce power is creeping back towards the middle. Now, Zhao Ming, while he is more mobile and he causes terror in his big boy form, he also is a much easier to hit, especially for Slayers and Quarrelers. This is getting a little risky crispy there. Fire and rockets are returning. It looks like one of them is trying to get back onto its mount. I think there was 1 fire and rocket left alive, like literally just 1 model. There goes a fire grenade from Malachi. Let's see the big damage. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Did a little bit short. Zhao Ming, realizing that being a big dragon man actually just hurt him a lot, decides to turn back in his human form, so a bit of a whoopsie there. Down goes a nice breath attack down the line of some Slayers and stuff, but he took a lot of damage. Now he's worried because he needs to transform into a dragon again to get his heal, but he's on cooldown at the moment. Also, that would just let him get into the sky and get away from this Dragon Slayer guy. Jade Warrior is getting slowly walked down by Dwarves at this point. I don't know how Zhao Ming deals with the Dragon Slayer and Malachi without Final Transmutation. It seems like it's going to be too much. The Jade Warrior front line never breaks, never yields, but, I mean, like, neither do Dwarves, so that's kind of a moot point. Hey, one of the Fire Rains is online. He's trying to punch this blob over here. Good for you, man. Good for you. Keep living your best life. Keep firing in. There comes a volley. Onto a cluster. Oh my god! Zhao Ming's taking a lot of damage. Probably wants to turn to a dragon soon to get that nice juicy heal. Needs to make sure he's not on fire. I don't know what would cause fire, but just in case. Needs to make sure he's not on fire. Because he only gets one heal. If it's cut in half, that's really, really tough. For Cathay, still have 2 Jade Warrior crossbows who are trying to kite out the Dwarves. The third has rallied recently. Zhao Ming will get his heal off if he can turn to his dragon form. Looking around, we don't really have anything else here. Another big breath attack from him hurting the Slayers. For the Dwarves, we have some healthy Quarrelers, though they are about out of ammo. Malachi's half HP, Dragon Slayer's half HP, as Zhao Ming actually gets some decent shots on him. Whoa! That was a little crazy. Alright, he needs to transform, like, now. It's definitely off cooldown by now. If he takes one more hit for the Dragon Slayer, he's going to, like, rout, and then you can't transform him. But he's transforming now. It doesn't matter if he gets hit. He should be able to transform and get the heal off regardless of what the Dragon Slayer does. There he is. Big Zhao Ming is back. Nice couple thousand HP heal he desperately needed to keep Cathay in this game. Firing Rocket's still firing in. Jade Warrior crossbows trying to keep themselves alive as Zhao Ming is going to dive Malachi again. I'm not surprised he's not going back to peel for some of his archers, but I guess he's just going for the Dwarven leadership snipe to try and make them a little easier to break for himself. But the dragon characters are universally terrible. The like Cathay dragons, not all dragons, but like the Cathay dragon characters are universally terrible at hitting infantry or even large units. They're just like, their animations and their models have never worked very well, so trying to use them to snipe out Malachi is just not going to work. So Zhao Ming's starting to snipe some stuff out. One firing rocket still firing away as Dwarf Warriors are trying to get up there. Trying to hoof it up there and stop them. His Quarrelers have routed off the other Jade Warrior crossbow. Zhao Ming back up in the sky. Gonna go route some Dowie. How's this fire rain doing? It's under attack. That's for true. Dwarf Warriors getting close to routing. They do take out the last fire and rocket before breaking. So they technically did their job. Zhao Ming's wandering around trying to find a home. For the Quarrelers, 1 volley, 4 volleys, and that's it. Malachi, however, is poking Zhao Ming down with like 500 weapon strength. He's nothing to sneeze at. Lands in the Quarrelers to try and rout them off. These Slayers are charging up Hamburger Hill, currently getting mulched a little bit by the Jade Warrior crossbows, who will maybe get half of a volley off before the Slayers reach them, and then it's going to be a bad time. Yeah, they missed an awful lot. Slayers are in. Dwarf Warriors cleaned out the top of the hillside. That's looking like it. Still have some Jade Warrior crossbows fighting. These Jade Warrior crossbows are dying to the Slayers. Trying to fight back every so often, but they are losing overall. That's an awful lot of Dwarves walking carefully towards them. I can do another series quick, so we'll do the Wood Elf series after this one. Jade Warriors rout. These other Jade Warriors are about to rout, and then without them, Zhao Ming is alone. I don't think he can really do too much here. Dwarves get Terror out of before they complete their rear charge. These Jade Warrior crossbows are going to hold for now. Slayer's down to 2 models and 7 HP. They're alive. For now. 1 model and 4 HP. Slayers are dead. Another Slayer coming in.
Breathalorum.
I'm seeing other YouTubers talking about hummus. I'm glad the community is growing. Yeah, Legend of Total War also was randomly promoting us, which was very nice of him. And he contributed to the prize pool of this tournament. So, he's been doing some good works out there. Xiaoming gets a great charge to the Slayers. That did so much damage. It's not going to turn this game around, but it did do so much damage. Just give up, Zhao. You and your peasants lost. Give up. He's done. Xiaoming, good value. Fire and rockets together didn't pay for one of themselves. They just got outshot by the Dwarven cannon so hard. Jade Lancers also had a hard time. Jade Warriors didn't do very much. Jade Warcrossmen, okay, I guess. For KDW, Malachi didn't get a lot done, though he was a little bit more supportive. Cannons did fine. Dragon Slayer did fine. Oof, those Quarrelers, Grey Opens doing good work. Slayers did alright. In the battle of two armored armies slowly walking at each other. Skaven still bad at SCM killing? They're not. No. The problem is when those SCMs you do a lot of damage to heal. Like, they just get regrowth once, and then that's the end of that. But no. Skaven are more weak to, like, monstrous infantry than just raw single entities. That's the problem with the Lizardmen matchup. The problem isn't the Dreadsaurian. The problem is the Salon giving the Dreadsaurian 66% physical resistance, and most of your Skaven's ranged is physical, and then giving it regrowth and stuff. But also Ripperdactyl's running around, also Croxor's running around, Feral Golden's running around. Like, those are the problems. It's not like, I can't kill this big thing. It's like, can you all fuck off and let me kill this big thing? Last series for the day. Last series for the day. We'll grab some Wood Elves. Where was it? There you go. Trogdar the Flatulent versus Zegzi. High Elves versus Dark Elves is game 1. The only thing I guarantee you is that there's Wood Elves in this series. I guarantee you nothing else. Trogdor versus Zegzi. Let's do it. Those are some funky looking Wood Elves. They're in the series. Okay. For our High Elf friends of Trogdor, we have Shadow Walkers, the more elite version than Shadow Warriors. So we have 2 Shadow Walkers, the Fireborn, some Spearmen, some Lions of Crace. Well, the White Lions, the infantry unit, not the literal lions. Dragon Princes, and then we do have an Archmage of High Magic with Tempest, Soul Quench, and Apotheosis in the back. For the Dark Elves, we have double Bloodrack Medusa, one of which is the Siren of Red Ruin. Supreme Sorcerers of Shadows, a Pendulum and Melkoth, and a bunch of Dark Shards, Cold One Knights, a whole bunch of Cold One Knights, and Dark Riders with the Dreadspear frontline. Shadow Walkers are taking a lot of damage as they kite back. But the Dark Elves might have overextended to try and stop them, as Dark Riders take a lot of damage, and these Cold One Knights just get entirely caught out by the Fireborn and other Dragon Princes. 2v1 while getting shot, they are having a bad time. So many knife ears. Yeah, dude. Elves are good, and you'll see a lot of elves because, 1, they're popular and a lot of people like them, and then 2, they're not OP, they're strong. So while the OP factions get, like, banned, because you have a certain number of bans you can use in a series, while the OP factions get banned, you almost never ban the elves, so they can be worth it to learn them because you'll know you'll get to play them. Whereas if you spend all your time learning how to play Kislev and then Kislev gets banned 9 out of 10 series, it's like, okay, was that worth your training time to learn how to play them the one time they're not banned? Or is it more worth it to play a good faction well rather than an OP faction well? So So Wood Elves are moving, Wood Elves. High Elves are moving in on all sides. They have gotten this Dark Shard. They're now stuck in a fight with the Cold One Knights that they probably won't want for extended periods of time. And the Siren's Red Ruin and the other Blood Arc Medusa are having a tough go of things. They need to run away from all these archers that are shooting at them. The Shadow Walker's getting good DPS in here and there. Dread Spear is fighting back against the Lions of Grace. Goodbye, Siren of Red Ruin. You tried. The Shadow Walkers are too OP. Too strong. Dragon Princes are winning against the Golden Knights here and there, but there are so many more of them than the Dark Elves brought that the Dragon Princes will eventually start losing just to raw attrition. Like you can see over here, Fireborn are about dead. On this side, these Dragon Princes are about dead. Every other cav the High Elves have is an Illyrian Reaver, making it a light cav. The Siren Red Ruin is about to get rear charged by an Archmage of High Magic, which should rout it again. And get rid of that. Murderous Prowess is popped with the Dark Elves, giving them a little bit more stats, as the Blood Arc Medusa is firing up a sand dune, so she's having a really hard time getting good shots off onto whatever she's trying to hit. And in comes the Dark Elf Cavalry, really trying to change the fortunes of the Dark Elves on the battlefield. High Elf front line is slowly winning and starting to get onto the Dark Elf back line, but we'll see how much that matters as Dread Spears and Cold Knights are teaming up in Illyrian Reavers. Fireborns have been pushed off, but they should return to the fight soon and maybe can get Apotheosis healing from the Archmage of High Magic. We'll have to see. Soul Quench looks like it's getting fired down this very clustered up Dark Shard. That does really, really good damage when you're that close together. Some beautiful stuff there. Illyrian Reaver Archers still firing in on the Golden Knights, but they might need to go into melee form and run down some of these Dark Shards or something. Get rid of these fools. Shadow Walker's caught once again by the Dark Elf Mage, but also these Cold One Knights. They're going to have to get going. Looks like for now they don't realize that they need to run away. Nalithanar would be proud of them for their courage, but not so proud of them for, you know, getting caught in the middle of a desert. That is the exact opposite of what he trained Shadow Warriors to do. Dragon Prince is going to try and kill the Siren Red Ruin. She's already routed twice, so if she routs one more time, she will just shatter, and they don't have to worry about her at all. The Dark Elves are all of a sudden ahead on the balance of power. I would tend to agree. There's a lot of cav. One full health Blood Arc Medusa. Another Soul Quench down a very clustered up Dark Shard. Oh, we've seen the damage before, and it's still pretty good. What is that, 7 Winds of Magic? Yeah, 7 Winds of Magic ain't bad. But a Pendulum from the Dark Elves pokes down Spearman a little bit. And the Siren Red Ruin actually managed to push away the Dragon Princess. She didn't rout, they did. Huh. Look at that. So where are we at here? Dark Elves have a full health Caster Lord, which, whatever. Full health Blood Arc Medusa, pretty good. And then some tattered spears and Dark Shards around the map. For the High Elves, we have a full health Lord, 2 full health Light Cav, and then some tattered spears around the map. That's pretty close. I don't know if I agree with the balance of power being this in the Dark Elves' favor. I'd put it at like 45-55. Personally. Another Melkoth's out on the Fireborn as they fight to the end. Illyrian Reaver Archers kiting back too far, abandoning their troops when they should have just rear charged this Cold One Knight that was in here and take that out. Yeah, I guess I am leaning further and further in the Dark Elf's favor here. Ooh, especially as this happens. Archmage of High Magic just dives into some Cold One Knights. Medusa's trying to shoot, but it's obstructed. I think if you're a High Elf, you want it to shoot at this point, so it hits all those Cold One Knights, but it looks like it's not gonna. Illyrian Reaver Archers are trying to close in, trying to isolate some stuff. But I don't think they can kill the Blood Arc Medusa unless there's a lot of time for Apotheosis to go off. High Elves all of a sudden rout away from this Cold One Knight, who is just about dead. It will win its battle. What should kill the Blood Rack? The Blood Rack Medusa really hates fighting in a bunch of cavalry. Even Illyrian Reavers would do decent damage to it. It only has 30 armor. 42 melee defense. So Illyrian Reavers with a charge can get some decent shots on it. And I was thinking about the Archmage of High Magic having Apotheosis and heals and stuff, but I don't think I noticed this other Cold One Knight. That is plenty to keep the High Elves honest. This is Illyrian Reavers just roll through these guys. In comes a Melkoth's onto them. Cold Knight's taking a bit of damage, and then we get a counter Apotheosis. It's Overcast, which, I don't know, what does the Overcast even do? Does it heal more, or does it increase the range? It just increases the range, yes. That Overcast was just a mistake. Whoops. Lane Reavers are going to start routing with that. Army losses should probably hit. And everything for the High Elves will be going except for this Archmage of High Magic, who's currently getting beat up and thinking about routing anyway. Lane Reavers do manage to rally, though, so they don't rout, causing the change reaction that would end the game. One final Soul Quench for the road on the clustered up Dark Shard. Blows those guys away. I'll never get tired of watching clustered infantry formations get scattered. But yes, as chat's saying, you probably should subscribe. We're super close to 10k subscribers. That would be boss. It'd be pretty cool. We are at 9.87. So you need like 130 more subs to get to the 10,000. Which is never going to happen. We can't get to 10,000. It's not allowed. Good game here. Very close between the two Elven factions. The Shadow Walkers actually did pretty nicely. So did Dragon Prince and Lane Reavers. The infantry were not very helpful. Then aside for Zegzi, his lord did fine. Blood Arc Medusa's, one did great. One got shut down immediately by the Shadow Walkers. Golden Knights did fine. Dark Shards did okay. Infantry didn't matter. So both sides, their infantry really didn't do anything. Not their fault, just like wasn't the game for infantry. Zegzi wins game 1. But I promised you this series has Wood Elves, and oh, would you look at that, game 2. There's some Wood Elves. That's crazy. That's wild. But in game 3, will there be Wood Elves? That would be even better, wouldn't it? Trogdor the Flatulent is a Wood Elf main. So he grabs him up. Shane, thank you for the subscription. It is $8.99 a month, but I promise you it's worth it because we send a magazine to your door that you'll never read. Normally just want Turin, but I have room to watch you also. Let's go. Turin's playing Company of Heroes. He's not even a Warhammer streamer anymore. He's Company of Heroes. That's all he does.
What about Dune Spice Wars? What about Age of Empires? Didn't he just do a Warhammer?
Nope. Nope. Just Company of Heroes. Alright, for the Wood Elves, we have a front line of Dryads, backed up by Eternal Guard, backed up by Wildwood Rangers, a Glade Lord with the Helm of Discord, Shadows Caster with Pit of Shades, Melkoths, and Enfeebling Foe. And we have Glade Guard, Glade Guard, Starfire Shafts along the back line, some Glade Rider Spears, and one Great Stag Knight flanking. For the Beastmen charging them, we have Centaurs, 3 Ungor Raiders, Butcher Calvin Guard, Grog's Wolf's Run, Malagor Dark Omen with Flock of Doom as his only spell, then more Centaurs, more dogs across the front line, some Zongors, and some Ungor Spearman herds. Let's fucking go. Wood Elves charge straight into the Beastmen lines, and man, the Zongors are getting melted right now! And a big Pit of Shades onto Centaurs and Ungor Spearman herds. That's going to be beautiful. Is it overcast or is it undercast? I hope it's overcast for the sake of the Wood Elves. Yeah, I think that's overcast, because it's doing a lot of damage. The Beastmen taking a brutal start to this game. So much of their front line is fucked up. I see 4 units routing from them. Great Stag Knights pushing off a Centaur, then they'll have to turn on and deal with these Chaos Warhounds, as everything is a disaster for the poor Beastmen. Flock of Doom hits like 3 or 4 units over here. And Dryads moving forward to try to keep the Archers online as the Archers tee off on the Butchers and Calvin Guard. More Centaurs dive into the backfield, but Malagor's taking a lot of damage from the Helm of Discord, lowering his melee stats down to 26-21. That Wood Elf Lord doesn't give a single shit. Is kind of rolling through him. But here comes the Great Stag Knights. Antlers down for a rear charge onto the Ungor Raiders. Decent amount of damage. There we go, there we go, there we go. At first I was like, is that seriously your charge? You're going to do that to me? But take half their health on the charge, rout them off immediately. Things are starting to turn against the Wood Elves just a little bit, though. Their archers are compromised in most places. They've done amazing damage, but it looks like their time is at an end. Another Flock of Doom continues to harass them down, and Centaurs are also pushing these other ones off. The Wood Elves are starting to break. Their Wildwood Rangers have taken too much damage and have either died flat out or they are routing. Great Stag Knights routed an archer. Looks like they're stuck fighting a Centaur until they can get to the next archer. I feel like the Wood Elves are doing good, but there's just always more Beastmen. There's always more Beastmen. Dogs and Centaurs still closing in onto these archers who can't rally just yet. And the Great Stag Knights stuck fighting this fight. It looks like other Centaurs have also joined the fight. I still feel like they did good. Yeah, they've overall done pretty good. Just about paid for themselves. Beastmen are starting to rally on the far side and get a second win so they can slowly trickle back into the fight, and the Wood Elves just aren't afforded that luxury. They're down to a couple spearmen, a healthy lord, and a healthy caster, but that is really it, as everything else is just dead. Anybody that runs away is immediately run down by centaurs and whatnot. It's just tough. It's tough, man. It's tough when your enemy can rally and you can't, which is why mobility is just such a powerful thing in multiplayer. If you control the flanks, you can kind of control the game a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Butchers, Account Guard, and Dogs fighting against the Helm of Discord caster. Helm of Discord, Lord and caster, I guess. But that, I mean, that is it. There is no other Wood Elves left on this map. A third health Eternal Guard does not an army make. Butchers, Account Guard backing off to regenerate a little bit. Don't want to lose them. As archers move up to get nice and close before they start shooting so that they can actually hit the Glade Lord and not miss a whole bunch. Butchers do get charged by both these guys, taking good damage. They're trying to, the Wood Elves are trying to take models off them before they're allowed to regenerate too much. They're already down to 9 models. Some more stuff comes in. Ungor Raiders were here briefly. Rear charge onto the Eternal Guard from the Groghoofs, trying to get their leadership down low enough to rout them. It looks like they will, in fact, rout. And now it is 2v a lot, because none of the Wood Elves are coming back. Butchers again back off, still trying to just regenerate. It's punishment for not bringing dirt through. Straight facts, man, straight facts. Butchers Account Guard diving in onto the Glade Lord, enfeebling foe popped on them, however, and he fights back a little bit, knocking some of them on their ass, killing off some more models, down to 7 models for them. Not that it really matters, because we still have all these Beastmen, just like all of them. Army losses will come in as soon as this lady takes 1 hit. There it is. There's army losses. GG. That'll be a 2-0 to Zegzi. But Trogdor brought you the Wood Elves you so desired. That is it for the stream today. We aren't able to cast every replay from round 1 because there's 122 players, which makes there 61 best of 3s to cast every single round. That's not going to happen, but I did pick through some of them and find the ones that were a little diverse. Like, I didn't avoid the top factions. We got some Bret today. We got some we got some Empire, some Lizardmen, some Dwarves, some Grand Cathay, Kislev, Tzeentch. But I just made sure to go through replays and not like Empire, 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 Empire. Ugh, that's all I have. Thanks for stream, kind sir. Hell yeah. I have another. The next one I know of is Wednesday. I'll also probably stream on Monday because it's Memorial Day. Probably. But I'll definitely stream Wednesday. I am leaving now. You should subscribe. Or don't. That's up to you. But if you do, I'll send candy to your house. Okay. Decent casting. Oh, decent! Oh! Hey, KV! Did you notice that the Wood Elves use the trees? The Great Stag Knights were in the trees, KV? Did you notice that? Did you notice that? Did you like that? That people were using the trees, KV? I like how anyone who's not deep into the Human Boy lore doesn't know KV and I, so they think I just, like, lost my shit at a random person about a random thing. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it that way. They don't deserve to know the lore. It's just for KV and probably Jeremy to know. No one else has any idea. Plus 200 viewers on average is a great achievement. Dude, it was great. It was great. Thanks to Legend of Total War for promoting us. That helped a lot. And I'll repay him somehow. When I have 600k subscribers and he's still at 500k, I'll give him a shout out. I'll help him. Do I get the candy if I unsubscribe and subscribe again? Yeah, dude. So the stream's over. You guys can leave. But if you want to stick around for nonsense rambling, I got you. So I had a weird week at work, and life in general. And I was trying to come home and, well, okay, I was at work. I was super busy in the lab and stuff, and I get like a whole bunch of text messages in a row. And this is pure story time. The stream is over. You can leave. But I'm at work and everything's kind of going to shit. Where like our machine, I work in a mass spectrometry lab, so like the mass spectrometer needs to go through a whole bunch of stuff, and it was getting repaired. And then Grace texts me, and she's like, "Our whole house smells like gas." And if you're wondering if this has to do with this morning, kind of. This is yesterday. And she's like, "Our whole house smells like gas." I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. Call the gas company then." And she does. And then I get a whole bunch more texts, and she's like, "Okay, so the gas company's coming, and they said we have to go outside." So Grace goes outside with our cat and our dog. And then our landlord texts us. And our landlord, we've never met this person. They're in a different state. They text us, and they're like, "What's all this about, like, you guys standing on the lawn and whatnot?" And we tell her about the gas leak, and she's like, "Okay, why do you have a cat?" So then Grace was like, "Well, one of our neighbors apparently ratted us out and also told her that we have a cat," which we do. We pay pet rent every month for a dog and a cat. Every month. We pay $25 extra on our rent for Ed. He's a cat. We pay $55 for Hazel. So there's two different rates, right? So they know there's a cat. Like, it's not like, oh, like, for dog number one, $55, but if you have a second dog, it's only $25. That's not how this shit works. They know there's a cat. And the landlord doesn't even manage our property. It's a management company that manages it for her. And the management company said, "Yeah, you can have a cat." So then Grace is outside, alone, dealing with a dog that's constantly pulling on her leash because Hazel's insane. And then a cat in a cat carrier that's meowing at her. She's trying to text me about what's going on and call me, but I'm busy at work, so I'm not able to help too much. Our landlord is telling us we might get evicted because we have a cat, while the management company is saying we'll calm her down, but I guess we're not supposed to have cats. We didn't know that. We fucked up. And there's a gas leak in the house, so she's stuck outside. So Grace is having a grand old time. Eventually, the gas company comes and they check it out, and they're like, "You have 7 different leaks in your gas system. 7 different leaks." And we're like, "Great. We've been living in this house for like a month. We've probably been just huffing paint thinner this whole fucking time," which is good. So that's nice. Anyway, they send over a plumber to fix it, and he's like, "I fixed 6 out of the 7," and we go, "Cool." Then they turn the last valve off that cuts off our dryer. So we don't have a dryer right now. They need to call the dryer people, the dryer police, and bring them over. Whatever. It's fine. Wake up this morning, and Grace goes, "I still smelled gas yesterday when I turned on the sink." And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And she's like, "Yeah, you too?" And I go, "Yep." I honestly kind of assumed it was nothing. I thought it was like leftover gas in the pipes from the 7 different leaks yesterday. So Grace is like, "We should call the gas company." And here's this morning. So before I start this, nothing is Legend of Total War's fault. And whenever I talk about this, happens when I talk about Turin too. Like, people assume I'm against Turin if I say anything like negative. And it's not even Legend of Total War was negative. Like, he was perfect. He was great. The intimidation from dealing with Legend of Total War, because he is a super nice guy. The intimidation is because he's huge. It's not his fault. Like, if he came to my house and handed me a cookie, I would still be super anxious because he is Legend of Total War. So he was a great guy. But he was messaging me earlier this week, and he was like, "Hey, I wanted to raid your stream for that Warpstone Cup thing that you're doing." Because he kicked into the prize pool and all that stuff. He really wants to get it going. And I was like, "Hell yeah, dude. Let's set this up Saturday at 9 a.m. When Grace and I smell a second gas leak, it is legitimately 8:20. And I'm like, I need to be streaming in 40 minutes. And Legend of Total War and I set this whole thing up, and he, like, wanted to do this. And then I texted him, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, how do you feel about me starting an hour later?" And he's like, "Motherfucker, I want to go to bed." And I'm like, I get that. So I'm losing my mind. And we go outside, and we're waiting for the gas company to come, and I'm just sitting on my driveway, texting, like, anyone I can, messaging with Legend, messaging the stream to tell you people why the stream's gonna be fucking late. And we have 62 people waiting here, which, for reference, I normally have 10 people waiting when I have a stream. my stream averages are like 70 people. So we almost have as many people waiting for the stream to start as I'm used to having at all. And I'm out of my fucking driveway with my cat in a box yelling about things because he's upset. And we have a stranger coming to our house. And it's like 9:50. And a guy shows up. And I'm like, I have 10 minutes not to be late for the stream. Get in there. Do your thing. Go, guy, go. He gets in there. He's scanning around. He's like, well, I don't see any leaks. I don't do any of this. All this stuff. And he goes through and he comes back out. And he's like, yeah, I don't see anything. You guys should be good to go. But let me just check the basement. The basement where there were 7 leaks. And we plugged 6 of them. And the last one's on a machine that's turned off. He's like, let me check the basement. Goes down the basement. And I hear it. I hear it from the driveway. I hear... I'm like, shit. So he comes outside. He's like, yeah, there's a leak in your basement. I'm like, fucking where? Where could it be? They replaced 6 leaks. And there's a 7th one we know about that the gas is off. Are you saying there's an 8th leak? And he goes, no, it looks like the thing's brand new. We just didn't screw it in correctly. And I'm like, okay. So the guy who came yesterday, like, replaced a bunch of pipes and what? Didn't turn the gas on to check if he did all the connections right? Or what? Or what? Or what? What is it? And he's like, well, I just tightened it a bit. It should be good now, but let's leave it alone. And it's like 10:08. The stream was supposed to start at 10. I'm getting rated. Well, not even rated. He posted in his community, but like Legend of Total War is trying to promote my stream. You know, the first time he's ever promoted my stream, as far as I know, like, you know, he's mentioned me in times and all that stuff, but like, fucking Legend of Total War is messaging me on Discord saying, hey, I want to help you out, bro. And I'm like, I'm on my fucking driveway. I don't know what's happening right now. And Legend's like, hey, everybody, go check out this cool stream from Human Boy. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be there. So as soon as this guy comes out and he's like, you have another leak in your basement, I was like, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Gets down there, tightens the thing, does a couple checks, it's over, it's like 10:08, 10:10, and this guy comes outside and Grace is like, thanks so much for this thing. I'm like, fuck you, bye! And I just sprint past him, get down to the basement, start the stream, get all this shit going, and then Grace is like yelling at me from upstairs where she's like, are you late for your stream? And I'm like, yes! Yes, I am! Oh, God, so it was just like, it's been a day. It's been a day. So that was stressful. We came in a bit frantic as I just tried to get the stream started so that Legend of Total War's people that popped in weren't just like, Legend recommended this guy and this guy fucking sucks. Alright. I'm leaving. It's been a long morning. My voice hurts. I'm gonna go have lunch. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It was a good stream, and I appreciate all of you a ton. If you aren't subscribed, do that. If you don't feel like doing that, I don't know. I don't know why you hate me, but it's fine. Do whatever you want. It's fine. Cat situation okay now? Yeah, he's chilling. He's fine.